morning, good afternoon, and good evening, wherever you're at in the world. Welcome to Last Drafts Baseball's live commentary of Major League Baseball. Today's game is going to feature the Los Angeles Angels versus the Boston Red Sox. The commentary and views are our opinions and are not affiliated with the MLB, the MLBPA, or their sponsors. We are providing live reports on the game being played and hope English-speaking audiences around the globe can enjoy the game on YouTube and Twitch along with us. Today, we're featuring the game between the Red Sox and the Angels. It is going to be game 3 of the 3 games set. Both teams have won each in this series. This is the rubber game. The Los Angeles Angels will be sending Shohei Ohtani to the mound, their two-way star against Rich Hill in this 3-game finale of the set. We're going to give you the starting lineups first from the Los Angeles Angels. Leading off and playing in right field, wearing number 3 is Taylor Ward. Batting second and playing second base, wearing number 22, is David Fletcher. Batting third and pitching, wearing number 17, is Shohei Ohtani. In the cleanup spot and playing third base, wearing number 6, is Anthony Rendon. Batting fifth and at first base, wearing number 20, is Jared Walsh. Batting sixth and doing the catching, wearing number 33, is Max Stassi. Batting seventh in left field, wearing number 9, is Jack Mayfield. Batting eighth in center field, wearing number 16, is Brandon Marsh. And batting ninth and playing shortstop, wearing number 4, is Andrew Velasquez. And they are going to be facing Rich Hill. The 42-year-old veteran left-hander takes to the mound. He's 0-1 on the season. He's pitched in 17 innings. He's allowed 16 hits, 7 runs, all of which have been earned. He's walked 6 and struck out 11. And he has an ERA of 3.71. And now the starting lineup for the home team from Boston. The Red Sox are going to be rolling out this lineup against the two-way star for the Angels, Shohei Ohtani. It's going to be leading off at second base, wearing number 10, is Trevor Story. Batting second at third base, wearing number 11, is Rafael Devers. Batting third and playing shortstop, wearing number 2, is Xander Bogaerts. In the cleanup spot and doing the designated hitting, wearing number 28, is JD Martinez. Batting fifth in left field, wearing number 99, is Alex Verdugo. Batting sixth in right field, wearing number 16, is Franchi Cordero. Batting seventh at first base, wearing number 29, is Bobby Dahlbeck. Batting eighth in center field, wearing number 19, is Jackie Bradley Jr. And batting ninth and doing the catching, wearing number 25, is Kevin Plawecki. And they are going to be facing Shohei Ohtani. Ohtani on the mound is off to a bit of a slow start this year, both on the mound and at the plate. He's got 2 wins and 2 losses. He's got 19 and a third innings under his belt. He's allowed 16 hits, 9 runs, all of which have been earned. He has walked 5, but he has struck out 30 to a tune of a 4.19 earned run average. So those are your starting lineups. Rich Hill is just completing his warm-up tosses, and we're almost ready to get this one underway from the Fens in Boston. It's a beautiful day in Boston, and they will be going in the sunshine with a little bit of breeze happening as well. We've got the home plate umpire for today's ball game is going to be Paul Emmel. It is going to be Nestor Say at first. Bruce Dreckman is the second base umpire, and Pat Hoberg is at third. It is 63 degrees. As we said, it's partly cloudy. The sun is right now. The wind is blowing out to right field at 9 miles per hour, and it is a beautiful day for baseball in the Fens. And so now Hill has completed his warm-up tosses, and we're ready to get this one underway. Stepping up to the plate is going to be the leadoff hitter for the Angels, Taylor Ward. Ward was the American League Player of the Week last week, and he takes a first pitch fastball inside for ball 1, and we are underway in the Fens. 1 ball and no strikes to Ward. Ward batting from the right side against the lefty Hill. He takes a fastball inside, and the count now goes to 2-0. Ward on the season is hitting .375. He's got 6 homers and 15 runs batted in. Hill rocks into the motion. He kicks and fires. There's a fastball swung on and fouled away. It's going to reach the seats behind the first base dugout, and the count now is 2-1 to Ward. We had a chance to see the Angels earlier this week when they played in Chicago against the White Sox. They were shut out 3-0. There's been a lot of changes in the lineup just over those last few days. There's a fastball that catches the inside corner, and Ward takes that for a called strike, and the count goes to 2-2. A number of different players in and out of the lineup. Joe Adell got the start on Monday, and he was sent down the next day. He is not in the lineup for them. He was optioned to the minors. We did not see Max Stassi behind the plate. We did not see Rendon at third. And today, of course, Mike Trout gets the day off today. So 2 balls and 2 strikes to Ward, as he gets himself dug in, ready to face the offering from the lefty Hill. Instead, Hill steps off the back of the mound, and we're ready to do this all over again. So Hill now ready to get back to work. He rocks in the motion. He kicks and delivers. There's a fastball taken on the inside corner for a called strike. And Ward has gone down on strikes for out number 1 here in the first inning. So 1 up and 1 away. And that's going to bring up the second baseman, David Fletcher. David Fletcher was another one of those players who wasn't in the lineup when we called the game on Monday. He's batting .148 on the season. He's got no homers and 1 RBI. Hill ready to go to work. He kicks and delivers. There's a fastball at 90 miles an hour that misses upstairs, and the count is 1-0. David Fletcher is in the midst of a 5-year contract. His contract is going to run out at the end of the 2027 season. There's a fastball swung on it, is lifted into shallow right field. Moving over toward the line is the right fielder, Franchi Cordero. He's going to make the catch. And Fletcher is going to be retired for out number 2 here in the first inning. So 2 up and 2 away, and that's going to leave it all up to the pitcher, Shohei Ohtani. For Ohtani on the season, he's hitting .230. He's got 4 homers and 12 RBIs. He's started to pick up his play a little bit more in recent days. He's also got 4 stolen bases on the year, and there's a fastball that catches the outside corner, and strike 1 to Ohtani. Lefty versus the lefty. Hill rocks into the motion. He kicks and fires. And here's a breaking ball that swung on. It's grounded slowly over to first. It's fielded neatly by Bobby Dahlbeck. He steps on the bag. And that is going to do it here for the Angels in their half of the first inning. They go quietly. There were no runs, no hits, no errors, and nobody left aboard. We're through a half inning in Boston. It's the Angels, nothing. The Red Sox coming to bat. Stick around, everybody. We'll be back with the call in less than a minute's time. We're glad you guys could pop in and listen with us this afternoon or this morning if you're on the West Coast for some morning baseball. Glad you're here.
Hey everybody, thanks for checking out the game and Last Raps Baseball. This is Dave, Zero Thought Sports Card. If you like pack openings, baseball, all that good stuff, check us out. Drop a comment on our channel this month to win a mystery pack of cards. All you gotta do is say Last Rap sent you to be entered. And we'll drop a video later on this month announcing the winner. Enjoy the game.
Thanks for that, Dave. Be sure to check out Zero Fox Sports after the ball game. We'll be back in just a moment with the call of the bottom of the first inning. Hang tight, everybody. Welcome back, everybody. We're moving to the bottom of the first inning. It is going to be the top of the order for the Red Sox. Trevor Story, Rafael Devers, and Xander Bogaerts to get things going here against Shohei Ohtani. Ohtani is just completing his warm-up tosses, and we'll be ready to get this one back underway in just a moment. This is the third game of a 3-game set. Each team has one game in the series. Yesterday's affair was a high-scoring affair between these two teams, or a higher-scoring affair, as the Angels scored 5 runs in the 10th inning to beat the Red Sox 10-5. 15 runs in the game. There were 8 hits for both teams, no errors, but there's a lot of runs that can get on the board in a hurry. In the first game of the series on Tuesday, the Red Sox won that ball game that evening as they knocked off the Angels there. That final score was 4-0. Michael Wacha had an outstanding performance for the Red Sox as they held the Angels in check to only 3 hits. Noah Syndergaard took the loss that night and wasted a decent pitching performance from him. That's where we stand, as this is going to be the third game of the 3-game set. So Shohei Ohtani ready to face the right-handed hitting Trevor Story. Story's batting .221 on the season with no homers and 9 RBIs. Story gets himself dug in, and Ohtani works from the stretch position with nobody on. He kicks and delivers. There's a fastball swung on and fouled away over the first base dugout. The count is quickly 0-1. Trevor Story, in his first season with the Red Sox, he signed a multi-year deal in the offseason. In some ways, a lot of people and pundits have suggested that this is insurance for Xander Bogaerts. They feel that if Bogaerts does not re-sign with the club, they could easily shift Story back into his natural position of shortstop. So here comes the pitch from Ohtani. It's a breaking ball that misses down and away, and the count goes to 1-1. This is the first time that Story is not in a Rockies uniform. He really enjoyed a great run in Colorado. He was a 2-time All-State, 2-time Silver Slugger, Rockies. And here comes the pitch from Ohtani. It's a fastball at 96 miles an hour that swung on and missed. Runs the count now to 1-2. So 1 ball and 2 strikes to Story. Curious also to see how the rarefied air effect in Colorado might affect the stats of Story. So far, he's looking for his first home run on the season. Here comes the 1-2 pitch. There's a fastball that swung on and fouled away. That last pitch was at 98 miles an hour, so Ohtani is just starting to heat up a little bit. So 1 ball and 2 strikes to the right-handed hitting second baseman. Story was originally a first-round pick of the Rockies way back in the 2011 Major League Draft. He was the 45th overall pick. He was at Irving High School in Irving, Texas. Here comes the offering from Ohtani. He kicks and fires. It is a breaking ball that misses down and away into the left-handed batter's box. It runs the count now to 2-2. So 2 balls and 2 strikes. Story will be followed by Rafael Devers, who waits his turn on deck. So Story digs himself in. He's got a slightly open stance. He waggles the bat. He rests it on his shoulder, and then he lifts it off just before the pitcher starts to engage. There's a breaking ball swung on and fouled away. Keeps the count at 2-2. So we have a pretty good battle going on here between Shohei Ohtani and Trevor Story. It's been pretty much fastball sliders so far in this sequence of pitches to Story. We've seen 3 of each. Here comes the 2-2 offering. And it is a changeup swung on and missed. And that is going to retire Story on strikes. He took a little bit off of that pitch, did Ohtani. He left that up in the zone. It was very, very dangerous, but Story swung through it, and he has retired for out number 1 here in the bottom of the first inning. And that is going to bring up the third baseman, Rafael Devers. For Rafael Devers, on the season, he's batting .286. He's got 4 homers and 10 RBIs. He's hitting from the left side against the right-hander Ohtani, who kicks and delivers. There's a breaking ball that just misses outside, and the count is 1-0, but we're going to check that because we didn't see the hand of the umpire go up. They've got it at 0-1, so let's see if we can see if Paul Emmel is giving us a definitive sign. And there is a fastball that swung on, and it is tap foul. And so they've got 0-2 up on the board. We did not see that sign from Paul Emmel, but we'll go with 0-2 for now. So no balls and 2 strikes to Devers. Sometimes you have to, I don't always trust the scoreboard operators. Never too sure what they have to say, but Emil is the one that we'll be focused on. So here comes the 0-2 pitch. Ohtani holds at the belt. And he kicks and delivers. And there is a breaking ball that swung on. It squirts away from Stassi. And heading down to first is Devers, and he's going to reach base safely on a strikeout. That's going to be a wild pitch charged to Shohei Ohtani. One would think. I'll have to take a look at that again. It was a breaking ball that was in the dirt. The catcher, Stassi, goes down to block it. He was unable to keep the ball in front. It deflected off of him and squirted all the way over to the wall by the third base on deck circle. And with that being said, Devers is aboard. Stassi was able to corral that in front of him. That's going to bring up Xander Bogaerts with a runner on first and one away. For Bogaerts on the season, he's hitting .359 with a couple of homers and 10 RBIs. Both he and Rafael Devers are the ones that are churning the offense. And I guess you could also include Alex Verdugo in that too, who's had a nice stat line to start the year. Here comes the first pitch. It is a breaking ball swung on and missed by Bogaerts, and the count is 0-1. For Xander Bogaerts, a native of Aruba, he's 29 years old. He'll be 30 after the regular season is completed. He's a longtime veteran of the Red Sox. He broke in back in 2013. He's a 3-time All-Star and a 4-time Silver Slugger. There was a breaking ball swung on and missed. And the count now is 0-2 on Bogaerts. In Ohtani's career starts versus the Red Sox, he's only had 2 other times that he's faced them. He has a 1-1 record and an ERA of 5. So here comes the offering from Ohtani to Bogaerts, the 0-2 pitch. He kicks and delivers. It's a breaking ball down. The home plate umpire, Emil, says he did offer at it. And that is going to retire Bogaerts on strike. So with 2 out, you could argue and say Ohtani has already struck out the side, as the batter runner Devers had reached on that wild pitch. As we said, we're going to get the official scoring on that one on Devers. But as far as I'm concerned, it was a strikeout and a wild pitch. We're waiting for the update from Major League Baseball on that. There's a first pitch breaking ball delivered to JD Martinez, who swings through it and misses, and the count is quickly 0-1. So Martinez gets himself dug in. Waiting on the right-handed offering from Ohtani. There's a breaking ball swung on and fouled away, and the count is now 0-2. So no balls and 2 strikes to Martinez. JD Martinez had an interesting path back to the big leagues. He was originally property of the Houston Astros. He was originally signed out of high school, actually out of Nova Southeastern, the university. He was drafted by the Twins out of high school. Astros took him in the 20th round of the 2009 draft. There was a fastball that swung on. It's grounded on one hop over to the second baseman, Fletcher. He flips it to Velasquez. It's going to retire Martinez on or it's going to retire Devers at second on a fielder's choice, 4-6. I'll come back with that story in just a moment after this half inning. And so for the Red Sox in their half of the inning, they had no runs, there were no hits, no errors, and 1 left the board. We are now through 1 complete. It is the Angels nothing, the Red Sox nothing. Stick around, everybody. We'll be back in just a couple minutes with the call at the top of the second inning. We're glad you guys could be here today.
Hello, guys. Thank you for joining Freddie here on his baseball game. And I'm Steve Rademacher, and my channel is really all about everybody, including all my international friends. We have such stuff as non-sport packs from Canada, the OP Cheese. We have the Greek Freak, We have money from around the world. We have lira. We have yen. We have francs. We have pounds. We have Deutschmarks. We have all kinds of cool stuff like that. We even have some cooler things like Japanese women wrestlers and OPC baseball cards where I cannot read the back. We even have unopened material like the royal family, I know it's backwards, from London, England. Thank you for watching. Back to Freddie.
Welcome back, everybody. We're cruising to the top of the second inning. It is going to be the heart of the Angels batting order coming up to face Rich Hill. That means Anthony Rendon, Jared Walsh, and Max Stassi. So the 4, 5, and 6 hitters to face Hill here in the top of the second inning. Rendon gets himself dug in. He hits from the right side against the lefty Hill. And Hill is ready to work. He kicks and fires. There's a first pitch fastball that misses upstairs, and the count is 1-0 to Rendon. Sometimes it's hard to tell the difference between the fastball and the changeup for Hill. He doesn't throw particularly hard. Here comes the 1-0 pitch. There is a fastball that swung on. It's lifted into right field. Moving over underneath it is Franchi Cordero. He makes the catch, and that is going to retire Rendon for the first out of the inning. So 1 up and 1 away, and that's going to bring up Jared Walsh. Started to tell the story a little bit about J.D. Martinez. Now, J.D. Martinez was with the Houston organization, and he took an assignment down in the Winter League. I believe it was the Venezuelan Winter League he went down to play in. And he had really worked hard in the offseason to revamp his swing. And one of the things that he had talked about was he took a look at some of the best swings in the game. There was a first pitch fastball that misses outside. It counts 1-0 to Walsh. He looked at Mike Trout. He looked at Ryan Braun at the time. He looked at Miguel Cabrera. And what he noticed with all of those players was the extension, how they were able to really extend through the ball. There was a fastball taken for a called strike, and the count is 1-1. So in his mind, what he really focused on was trying to be able to stay through the baseball, really to extend, really to make sure that he was staying in the contact zone a lot longer and not rolling over and not turning out too soon. So he went down to the Winter League, and then he came back with the Houston organization, and he was wanting to apply that and put it to work. And the next thing you know, he got released with about a week to 10 days to go before the Major League camp was to break. So the Detroit Tigers picked him up and signed him to a minor league deal. There's a breaking ball that misses down and away to Walsh, and the count is now 2-1. And what ended up happening was he went off in Toledo with the Mud Hens. He absolutely was on fire. And then the Tigers called him up, and then he was absolutely on fire with the Tigers till the end of April. Pretty amazing type of run that he had. And there's a breaking ball that drops in for a called strike, and the count is 2-2. So 2 balls and 2 strikes to Walsh. So he was able to manufacture and then changed his swing. And as we said, it was in Detroit, of course, where he really had his breakout seasons. And then, of course, the Tigers moved him to the Diamondbacks, and then the Red Sox signed him, and the rest is kind of history. And there's a breaking ball swung on. It's grounded to the right side of the infield. It's fielded by Story. He flips it over to Walsh at first, and that is going to retire Walsh on a ground out, 4-3 for out number 2. So 2 up and 2 away, and that is going to bring up the catcher, Max Stassi. So he just felt it was the opportunity. And why he ended up hooking up with the Tigers was the Tigers had a coach at the time, Dave Clark, who was in the Houston organization, and he kind of vouched for Martinez. They said, hey, look, we should take a flyer on this guy and bring him in. And that's what ended up happening and how he ended up in Detroit. So here's the first pitch offering to Stassi. It's a fastball swung on and missed. And the count is quickly 0-1. For Max Stassi on the season, he is batting .236. He's got 3 homers and 8 runs batted in. As we mentioned, there were a lot of changes in this lineup from the Monday game that we watched with the Angels. There's a fastball swung on. This ball is driven to deep center field. Moving back on the warning track is the center fielder Bradley, and then he makes the grab, and that is going to do it. The way he drifted back, it almost looked like he was going to play it off the wall or something. He was faking the camera people out. Rich Hill's getting a little bit of a chuckle out of it, but that is going to retire Stassi for the third out of the inning. So for the Angels, they go quietly in their half of the second. There were no runs, no hits, no errors, and nobody left the board. We're through 1.5 in Boston. It is the Red Sox nothing, the Angels nothing. Stick around, everybody. We'll be back with the call at the bottom of the second inning. Just a couple moments after this from our friend Steve Rademacher. Be sure to check out his channel after the game.
Hello, kids. Steve coming at you. It's Steve Rademacher. And if you like interesting stuff, if you like to laugh a little bit, and if you enjoy collecting, this channel's for you. If you like non-sport cards, we have them. You like pseudo-sport cards, we open them. Even if you like entire boxes of completely pointless stuff or other sports, we have everything here. I drop a different video every day. And there's always a theme to it, from No Filter Friday to Saturday morning cartoons, even Sunday shoutouts. Once in a while, we'll get a little froggy and show Money Money Monday, where I showcase a bunch of my currency. We have Legos, we have Star Wars, we have a good time. We even have my brother on Takeover Tuesday. Be there or be square. Back to Freddy.
Welcome back, everybody. We're cruising to the bottom of the second inning. It is going to be the 5, 6, and 7 hitters coming up for the Red Sox. That means Alex Verdugo, Franchy Cordero, and Bobby Dahlbeck. And they're going to be facing the right-hander Shohei Ohtani. Ohtani in the first inning of work threw 16 pitches, and 14 of them were for strikes. And here's the first offering to Alex Verdugo. It's a breaking ball that drops in for a called strike, and the count is 0-1. For Verdugo on the season, he's hitting 300. We've got him at 300 with no homers and 1 RBI, but we're getting conflicting information. He's hitting 227 on the year. It looks like I've messed that up where he is hitting 227 with 3 homers and 13 RBIs. I may have missed out on that one for the JD Martinez. Takes a ball outside. The count is 1-1 on Verdugo. So 1 ball and 1 strike. Here comes the offering. It's a fastball swung on. It's grounded softly to third. It's fielded neatly by Rendon. He throws to first, and that is going to retire Verdugo on a ground out, 4-3 for out number 1 here in the second inning. So it looks like I may have made the meal of our pregame notes. It's going to bring up Franchy Cordero. For Franchy Cordero, he's hitting 300 on the early part of the season. So Cordero, with no homers and 1 RBI, he steps in to face the right-handed Ohtani. That was a first pitch fastball. It swung on. It's grounded over to second. It's fielded by Fletcher. He fires to first. Just like that, there's 2 up and 2 away here for the Red Sox in their second inning. So 4-3 on the ground out for out number 2, and that's going to leave it all up to Bobby Dahlbeck. So 2 quick outs here in the bottom of the second. And the first baseman Dahlbeck steps to the dish. For Dahlbeck, he's really struggled this season. He's batting 141 with a homer and 3 RBIs. He was the Rookie of the Month in August of 2021. And it looked like he was finally turning it around, both at the plate, defensively, everywhere. There's a first pitch fastball that misses down and away, and the count is 1-0. Dahlbeck has a lot of juice in the bat. The former University of Arizona product. Smacked 25 homers last year. Ended with a 240 batting average. There's a breaking ball that drops in for a called strike, and the count is now 1-1. So 1 ball and 1 strike to Dahlbeck. There was some talk when originally that when he was drafted, if they were going to keep Dahlbeck as a positional player or make him a pitcher. He was 90 plus across the infield. When he got his chance to play third base at the University of Arizona, there was a fastball swung on. This is lifted into shallow right field. It's going to get down in front of the right fielder Ward, and Dahlbeck's got himself a base hit here with 2 out in the second. He did a pretty good job of keeping his hands inside the ball and going the other way with it. A decent piece of hitting by Dahlbeck. He shortened up his swing. He was able to lift it over the first baseman's head, Jared Walsh, and drop it neatly in front of Taylor Ward. It's going to bring up the center fielder, Jackie Bradley Jr. For Jackie Bradley Jr. on this season, he's hitting 181 with no homers and 6 RBIs. The word that I would use here probably to describe Jackie Bradley Jr. in this situation against Ohtani is overmatched. Against some of the regular pitchers of the game, JBJ looks like he is overmatched, but certainly here. Here's the first offering from Ohtani. It's a fastball that just misses inside for ball 1. Counts 1-0. I have a feeling sometimes when you watch the mannerisms of the umpires, when you can see when they're on or maybe when they're off, and today it doesn't look like Paul Emmel has locked into any type of a zone yet between the two pitchers. So here comes the 1-0 pitch. There's a fastball taken at the knees for a called strike, and the count is 1-1. And I use that as the example because that pitch looked like it was even maybe not as good as the one before, but it was a very similar location. So 1 ball and 1 strike. And mind you, it is a very difficult position to have to call balls and strikes for 3 hours. There's a fastball swung on and missed, and the count now goes to 1-2. That was the portion of the overmatch that we were talking about with Jackie Bradley Jr. at the plate facing Ohtani. He absolutely blew that fastball by him. So here comes the 1-2 offering, and if I'm Ohtani, I go back upstairs again and try to blow it by him again. Here's the 1-2. He kicks and fires. It's a fastball, but that misses outside. And the count now runs to 2-2. So 2 balls and 2 strikes. The living room is in the house. He says it was hard to bet against Ohtani, but he did. Well, Shohei today has never had great success against the Red Sox in his career. But he looks like he's got his groove going on here today. Here's a fastball. This is swung on. It is lifted into right center field. Moving over onto the warning track and making the grab is the center fielder, Brandon Marsh, and that is going to do it here for the Red Sox in their half of the second inning. So for the Sox in their half of the second, they had no runs. There was 1 hit. There were no errors and 1 runner left aboard. We're now through 2 complete. It's the Angels, nothing. The Red Sox, nothing. Stick around, everybody. We'll be back in just a moment with the call at the top of the 3rd inning. We're glad you guys could make it in here with us today for all the action. Hold tight. Welcome back, everybody. It is 0-0. We'll be back in just a couple moments with the call of the top of the 3rd inning after this. Red Sox, Angels, knotted at 0s. Welcome back, everybody. It's going to be the 7, 8, and 9 hitters coming up for Los Angeles in their top of the third inning. It's going to be Jack Mayfield, Brandon Marsh, and Andrew Velasquez. They'll be facing the left-hander Rich Hill, who has been very effective in his 2 innings of work. He has yet to allow a base runner. He's retired the Angels in order for 6 consecutive outs. You don't have to throw 100 miles an hour to get hitters out at the big league level. You just have to make sure you hit your spots. And the first pitch that is delivered to Jack Mayfield is taken for a called strike, and the count is quickly 0-1. So no balls and 1 strike to Mayfield. Mayfield is hitting .244 on the season with a homer and 4 RBIs. He swings and misses on a breaking ball, and the count now goes to 0-2. So no balls and 2 strikes to Mayfield. The other day when we called the game, he had a start at third base. Today he's got his outfielder's glove with him. So no balls and 2 strikes to Mayfield. Hill rocks into the motion. He kicks and delivers. There's a breaking ball swung on and missed. Squirts away from the catcher, Plawecki, and he throws to first. It's going to go down as a strikeout. 2-3 on the putout. And Mayfield is gone for out number 1 here in the third, and that's going to bring up the center fielder, Brandon Marsh. For Brandon Marsh, he's hitting .250 on the season. He's got a couple of homers and 15 runs batted in. He's off to a decent start here for the Angels. Marsh is in his second season with the Halos, originally a second-round pick back out of Buford High School in Buford, Georgia. Takes a first pitch fastball for a called strike, and the count is 0-1. He made his major league debut back in 2021. He is no longer considered a rookie. There is a breaking ball that misses outside, and the count goes to 1-1. Last season, he hit .254 with a couple of homers and 19 RBIs. He's almost matched those totals here in quarter of the production. The homers and RBIs, that is. And here comes the offering. It's a breaking ball that misses upstairs. The count's now 2-1. On top of that, he's already got 3 stolen bases. So just think of it all the way around. His production is already on the rise, but his strikeouts and walk totals are very eerily similar. They project to be about the same. There's a fastball that swung on and missed. And the count now runs to 2-2. Walsh asked the home plate umpire, Emmel, if he wouldn't have swung, would that have been a strike? And Paul Emmel probably would have told him it would have been a ball. You swung at a pitch that was outside. So here comes the 2-2. There is a changeup that is swung on and fouled away. The count now remains at 2-2. Sometimes hitters will do that. They'll look back at the umpire and they'll ask them, if I wouldn't have swung at that, would that have been a ball or a strike? They're often getting the feedback from the umpire if that pitch would have been a strike or not. Obviously, they want to get the input. So here comes the 2-2 pitch. It's a breaking ball swung on and missed. That was at 67 miles an hour. And Marsh has gone for the second out of the inning. So 2 up and 2 away via the strikeout, and that's going to bring up Andrew Velasquez. Andrew Velasquez gets the nod again at shortstop today. We saw him play on Monday. Very interesting player. He made some very nice defensive plays. Takes a first pitch fastball inside for ball 1, and the count is 1-0. Velasquez is been around a little bit. He was originally drafted by the Arizona Diamondbacks, but at the major league level, he's been with a number of teams. It's a fastball that misses upstairs, and the count now goes to 2-0 on Velasquez. He's been with the Tampa Bay Rays, with the Guardians, or the Indians, now Guardians, the Orioles, the Yankees, and now he's applying his trade with the Angels. And here comes the offering from Hill. It's a fastball swung on. It's grounded softly to short. It's fielded by Bogarts over to first. And that is going to do it here for the Angels in their half of the third inning. Goes down as a ground out 6-3 for out number 3. So for the Angels in their half of the third, no runs, no hits, no errors, and nobody left aboard. Now through 2.5, it is the Red Sox nothing, the Angels nothing. Stick around, everybody. We'll be back in just a couple minutes. The call of the third inning. We're glad you guys could be here. We got Troy Trolls in the house today. We welcome him to here, to joining and listening in. We'll be back in just a couple minutes with the call. The bottom of the third inning. Hang tight, everyone.
This is Steve Rademacher, and I'd like to introduce you to my channel if you haven't seen it before. These are all the things I enjoy: sports, autographs, relics, non-sports Hall of Famers, pseudo-sports, Star Wars. That's my channel name and my name, and I would really appreciate it if you would come check me out and maybe even subscribe if you like it. Thank you for that for now, and back to your ball game.
Welcome back, everybody. We're moving to the bottom half of the third inning. It's going to be Kevin Plawecki, and then the top of the order, Trevor Story and Rafael Devers to face Shohei Ohtani. We were talking about JD Martinez a little earlier. I don't know if Troy's still with us here. One of the things that we were talking about is obviously the change in his swing before he came to the Tigers. One of the things that the Tigers had to do was they gave a lot of money to Victor Martinez at the time. And probably, if it was me, I would have thrown the money towards JD Martinez. They give it to the wrong Martinez. It was a breaking ball that misses down and away. And the count is 1-0 on Plawecki. And had they done that, they couldn't lock them all up. I know that Victor Martinez was good friends with Miguel Cabrera. And obviously, in some ways, he was a bit of a stable pony for Miguel Cabrera in some of those years. There's a breaking ball that catches the outside corner, and the count is now 1-1 to Plawecki. And a lot of people kind of raised their eyebrows on the decision that was made. And of course, they made the trade to send JD Martinez to the Diamondbacks. And in hindsight, that trade was an absolute bust for Detroit. There was a fastball swung on it. It was lifted into right field. And battling the sun and coming in and now toward the foul line is Taylor Ward. He makes the catch. And that is going to retire Plawecki for the first out of the inning here. So 1 up and 1 away. I'll bring up the top of the order, Trevor Story. We're just talking about some of that contract that Martinez was given. But then the Tigers ended up flipping him to the Diamondbacks. And when they made the trade for the Diamondbacks, they have a friend in their organization. And I called him up immediately and I said, hey, I go, how was the reaction when they made the trade? And he goes, people were just fist pumping and just like, this is unbelievable. It was great. Well, the Tigers in return got Sergio Alcantara, Dewell Lugo, and Jose King. The only one left in the Tiger organization is King, who was a low-level minor league shortstop at the time. There's a first pitch breaking ball delivered to Story that's taken for a called strike, and the count is 0-1. Trevor Story today is 0 for 1. He struck out his first time up against Ohtani. So Sergio Alcantara, I believe, is in the Cubs organization now. He went overseas somewhere at one point. I think he was in the Korean League. Dewell Lugo, I'm not sure what's happened to him. And then, of course, you've got Jose King, who's still with the Tigers. So when you give up JD Martinez, you basically got nothing in return. There's a breaking ball swung on and missed. Count is now 0-2 to Story. So that was a trade that was a complete whiff by the Tigers. And the Tigers have had a few of those clunkers, especially as they blew up that roster. Our living room says, speaking of Detroit, he had a dream that he was stuck on Boblo Island. Well, being stuck on Boblo Island, for those of you who don't know, it's in the middle of the Detroit River. And back in the day, there used to be an amusement park there at Boblo Island. Today, there is a lot of wealthy homes and some large estates. There's a fastball that swung on and missed. Story couldn't catch up to that 97-mile-an-hour heater. Story is retired on strikes for out number 2. So 2 up and 2 away, and that's going to bring up Rafael Devers. Our friend in the living room who was in here yesterday was talking about watching the Leaf game last night, and he probably had that bad dream of Boblo Island after the Leaf game. The Toronto Maple Leafs, as we were talking some hockey during the stream yesterday, lost that game at home. And I have a bad feeling that it's going to be a 3-1 series when they play their next game in Toronto. It's not going to be for the Leafs. There's a breaking ball that drops in for a called strike on Devers, and the count is now 0-1. So Rafael Devers today, he reached first on a strikeout. There was a wild pitch. He was later retired in a fielder's choice. So he's 0 for 1 on the day against Ohtani, and there's a fastball at 98 miles an hour that swung on and missed, and the count now is 0-2. So no balls and 2 strikes. Devers is a left-handed hitting third baseman. Those in today's game are further and fewer between. You don't see a whole lot of that. I think going back 20 years ago, 30 years ago, when you used to have Wade Boggs and George Brett are the first two that come to mind. There's a breaking ball swung on, and it's going to be punched through the 6-hole into left field. It's going to beat the shift, as that ball was hit to the right of the third baseman, Anthony Rendon, who was in the shortstop position. Devers is aboard for the second time today, the first time via a hit. That's going to bring up the shortstop, Xander Bogaerts. Our friend in the living room says their wives are polishing their golf clubs as we speak. Yeah, more than likely. We've got KK in the house today, too. Welcome. Thanks for stopping by. We know you popped into the stream a little bit yesterday. And we're glad you could be here again today. So Rafael Devers is the runner at first with 2 away, and Xander Bogaerts steps in. He struck out his first time up against Ohtani. And the first pitch is a breaking ball taken for a called strike. And the count is 0-1. Bogaerts on the season, his average has slipped to a .355, but he is a treat to watch, both offensively and defensively. I'm not sure how the Red Sox can knock this guy longer term or a long ball. And here's the offering. It's a fastball. This is swung on. This is tapped through the 4-hole into right field. Devers makes the turn at second, but now he has to slam on the brakes. It was a little too shallow as Taylor Ward's throw was right on the money to third base. It's a seeing eye single for Bogaerts. Devers is now the runner at second, and that's going to bring up the aforementioned JD Martinez. We had butchered some of the numbers earlier on. Martinez is another player that's hitting very well for the Red Sox. He entered the game today hitting .309 with 3 homers and 13 runs batted in. He bounced into a fielder's choice his first time up. He waits in on the offering from Ohtani. Ohtani checks the runner. Devers at second. He kicks and fires. There's a fastball at 99 miles an hour. That's the hardest pitch we've seen all day. And it's 0-1 to JD Martinez. One would think that Martinez from this point is going to get a steady diet of breaking balls. So no balls and 1 strike. Ohtani holds at the belt. Now he kicks and delivers. There's a fastball that misses down and away. The count is 1-1. So 1 ball and 1 strike. Ohtani slows his pace down a little bit with the runners on base. 1 ball and 1 strike to JD Martinez. This potentially has all the makings of an action pitch. Here's the 1-1. It's a fastball swung on and missed 98 miles an hour from Ohtani, and it's now 1-2. A little surprised that he's going after Martinez with 3 consecutive fastballs. I would have thought that that first one would have been the one, and then maybe a steady diet of the sliders that he likes to throw. But 1 ball and 2 strikes it is to Martinez. Ohtani now ready to go back to work. He kicks and delivers. It's a fastball swung on and missed. And Martinez goes down on strikes to end the inning here, but they get a couple of runners, but they can't do anything with them. There were no runs on 2 hits. There were no errors, and 2 Red Sox left the board. We're now through 3 complete innings. It's the Angels nothing, the Red Sox nothing. Stick around, everybody. We'll be back in just a couple minutes with the call of the top of the 4th inning. We're moving along. Here's one of our Did You Knows. Welcome back, everybody. It is moving now to the top of the 4th inning. It's going to be the top of the order coming up for the Angels against Rich Hill. Rich Hill has retired the Angels in order in each of the 3 innings as we cruise to the top of the 4th. It'll be Ward, Fletcher, and Ohtani to face the soft-tossing left-hander. We've got some noise in the background. Hopefully that doesn't affect everybody here. There's a first pitch breaking ball that misses in the outside, or catches the outside corner, and the count is 0-1. Hill ready to go back to work, and here's the offering. It is a breaking ball that just misses, and the count goes to 1-1 on Ward. So 1 ball and 1 strike. Sounds like we're going to have to batten down the hatches. Here's the 1-1 pitch. There's a fastball that misses outside, and the count now goes to 2-1. So 2 balls and 1 strike to Ward. Hill ready to go back to work, and he delivers. There's a breaking ball that misses out and away, and the count goes to 3-1. I feel like I'm at Grand Central Station. I don't know if everybody else is getting that noise in the background. Apologize for that. Hopefully that is not quite the case. I know that the microphone does pick up a lot of stuff. So here's the 3-1 from Hill. There's a fastball that misses upstairs, and the Angels are going to get their first runner of the ball game as Taylor Ward is aboard with a walk. So Ward is the runner at first, and that brings up the second baseman, David Fletcher. Fletcher is 0 for 1 today. He has flown out to right field his first time up. Living room says he's heard it faintly in the background. Boy, oh boy, is it on, full on. So here comes the first offering. It is a fastball that just misses down. The count is 1-0 to David Fletcher. Well, sounds like we got a jackhammer on a sewer pipe. That's what it sounds like. Here comes the 1-0 to Fletcher. There's a fastball taken for a called strike, and the count goes to 1-1. So 1 ball and 1 strike. I guess the good news is that the microphone that we're using only picks up some of the stuff in the immediate area. So 1 ball and 1 strike to Fletcher. And here's the offering from Hill. It's a breaking ball that just misses, and the count is 2-1. I can tell you this much, that the pitcher Hill right now, he's got to feel like he's getting squeezed. There's a couple of really good pitches there. It's nothing worse than getting squeezed when you're at home. He's been around the plate today. He's pitched very, very well. Here comes the 2-1 pitch. Hill delivers. It's a fastball swung on. It is lifted into center field. And it's going to be caught by Jackie Bradley Jr. That is going to retire Fletcher for the first out of the inning. So one away here, and that's going to bring up the pitcher, Shohei Ohtani. I don't know what they're doing, but it is absolutely annoying. So much for the work at home if you're having to work at home type of thing. So Shohei Ohtani is the hitter. He's 0 for 1 today. He grounded out to the first baseman his first time up. And here comes the first offering from Hill. It's a breaking ball. This is swung on. It is lifted into deep center field. Moving back on the warning track is Jackie Bradley Jr., but he's battling the sun and he can't see it. The ball falls onto second, and now heading to third is Ward, and he is going to slide in there safely. That is going to be a single for Ohtani, as that ball was lost in the sun by Jackie Bradley Jr. You could see he was out there battling. He couldn't quite see it. Now, the Red Sox are on the phone because they may think that Taylor Ward was passed by Ohtani. So the Red Sox may catch a break here. We're going to have to get the replay of this. Ohtani hit the ball into deep center field. Jackie Bradley Jr. lost it in the sun, and he basically turtled. The ball almost hit him. It bounced up against the wall. He picked it up and then fired it in. But what we're looking for is to see if Ohtani has passed Ward. And that's what the Red Sox are looking at as well. So we're going to see if this is going to be gone to review or not, but it doesn't look like it. And the replay that we had, it looks like that Ohtani didn't pass him either, and so now we're back underway. So Ohtani will be given a base hit single. Ward is the runner at third, and the first pitch that was delivered to Rendon was a breaking ball that he waved at for strike one, and the count is 0-1 to Rendon. Rendon today is 0 for 1. He flew out to the right fielder his first time up. So with one out, there's runners on the corners here for the Angels. So that was definitely a sun-aided base hit there by Ohtani. He got lucky. There's a fastball that is taken for a called strike at the knees, and the count is now 0-2. So no balls and 2 strikes. There is action in the Boston bullpen. Tanner Houck is now up and throwing. The young right-hander getting loose. It's been a pretty effective day so far for Rich Hill, as he's been able to keep the Angels hitters off balance. There's a breaking ball that misses down and in, and the count is now 1-2. So 1 ball and 2 strikes to Anthony Rendon. In some ways, Rendon has been a bit of a bust for the Angels so far. They threw another big contract at him. There's a fastball that is swung on and fouled away, and the count remains at 1-2. After winning an MVP with the Washington Nationals, his play in the American League has not been quite to the same standard what he was able to do with the Nats. Jackie Bradley Jr. is one of the finer outfielders in center field. One thing that was striking to me, there is a breaking ball spot and missed, and Rendon on strikes for out number 2. So that is going to leave it all up to the first baseman, Jared Walsh. For as good a defender Jackie Bradley Jr. is, he's only won 1 Gold Glove. That Gold Glove was back in the 2018 season. But he has a reputation of being a very fine outfielder, whether it be center field, as he played most of his early career. Or he also has been in right field and the odd time in left. But a very good defender. And here's the first pitch. It is a fastball that is taken for a called strike, and the count is 0-1. We can see the strike, but we don't always get that call from Paul Emmel. He's got a very subtle right hand that goes up. So no balls and 1 strike to Walsh. And there is a pitch from Hill. Hill dropped down on that last pitch to throw sidearm. It was a 67-mile-per-hour breaking ball that evens the count at 1-1. He definitely gave the hitter a different look. Something we hadn't seen all game long. And the next thing you know, he drops down and he's becoming a sidewinder. So here comes the pitch. It is a breaking ball that misses outside. And the count is now 2-1 to Walsh. So 2 balls and 1 strike. And you got a left-handed batter facing a left-handed pitcher. Sometimes it's the angles that are created. What I noticed about Rich Hill is that he usually works from the third base side of the rubber. And here comes the pitch. It is a breaking ball that misses outside, and the count is now 3-1. Sometimes you'll see pitchers, and I think of Francisco Liriano, who retired in the offseason, the former Minnesota Twin, but he had played with some other organizations, including the Jays and the Pirates. But Liriano used to work all types of different sides of the rubber to create angles to the hitters. And certainly he, with a lefty, would usually get on the left side of the rubber, the first base side. There's a fastball taken for a called strike. The count is now 3-2 to Walsh. 3 balls and 2 strikes. Ohtani is going to be off to the races here. He is going to be running. So they got to make sure that Hill delivers to the plate. And here's the offering. It is a breaking ball swung on. It is popped up behind home plate. Plawecki camps himself underneath it. He's going to make the grab. And that is going to do it here for the Angels in their half of the 4th inning. They threaten, but they don't score. They leave runners on the corners. There was no runs in the inning. There was 1 hit. There were no errors and 2 left the board. We're now through 3.5. It's the Red Sox nothing, the Angels nothing. Stick around, everybody. We'll be back in just a few minutes. The call of the bottom of the 4th inning. We're glad you guys could be here. Here's our friend Matt.
We've got to have an ace in the hole, a little secret that nobody knows. Life is a gamble, a game we all play, but you've got to save something for a rainy day. You've got to learn to play your cards right if you expect to win in life. Don't put it all on the line for just 1 roll. You've got to have an ace in the hole.
Once again, we appreciate you, Matt, and your support of the channel, and in turn, we support another Hollis build. After the game, be sure to go over and check him out. We'll be back in just a moment with all the action. Hang tight, everybody. Welcome back, everybody. It's going to be the 5, 6, and 7 hitters coming to bat for the Red Sox in their half of the 4th inning. It's going to be Alex Verdugo, Franchi Cordero, and Bobby Dahlbeck to face the right-handed slants of Shohei Ohtani. Ohtani is just completing his warm-up tosses as we're about ready to get this one back underway. Surprisingly, not a lot of runs scored so far, but in Fenway that could change on a dime. It's been a good pitching performance by both of the starters so far today. Shohei Ohtani has been able to record 5 strikeouts through his first 3 innings of work. He has allowed 3 hits, but they've not been able to string other things together. He has not allowed a base on balls yet. For Rich Hill, he's only allowed the 1 hit, and that was the hit by Ohtani in the last inning that was lost in the sun by Jackie Bradley Jr. He was perfect through the first 3 innings. Got himself into a little bit of trouble in the last half. And he certainly is not throwing very hard today. We have only seen him get to 89 miles an hour once. Everything else has been from there on down. So here comes Alex Verdugo to the plate. He's 0 for 1 today. He grounded to the second baseman his first time up. And here comes the first offering from Ohtani. It's a breaking ball that catches the outside corner for a called strike, and the count is quickly 0-1. Ohtani very economical in his pitch counts. He was at 43 for the first 3 innings. He holds at the belt, and now he rocks and delivers. There is a split finger pitch swung on and missed. The count now goes to 0-2 to Verdugo. So no balls and 2 strikes. Verdugo waiting on the offering from the Japanese right-hander who kicks and fires. It is a fastball swung on and fouled away. It's going to reach the seats over on the third base side. It's going to keep the count at no balls and 2 strikes to Verdugo. Verdugo is a very fine player. He is arrived as part of the piece with the Mookie Betts trade from the Los Angeles Dodgers. There is a fastball that is swung on. It is tapped foul right at the plate. Stassi pounced on it to try to get it in fair territory to apply the tag to Verdugo, but that didn't happen. So it was David Price and Mookie Betts and cash going to the Dodgers. In return, it was Jeter, Downs, Connor Wong, and Verdugo. Yet to see Downs or Wong. Here comes the offering from Ohtani. It's a breaking ball that is swung on and missed. And Verdugo is retired on strikes for out number 1 here in the 4th inning. That is the 6th strikeout now recorded by Ohtani. It's going to bring up the right fielder, Franchy Cordero. Franchy Cordero was recalled from the minors. He was 27-year-old, was acquired from the Kansas City Royals a couple of seasons ago, and part of a deal that through 3 teams. There's a first pitch that is a fastball taken for a called strike, and the count is 0-1. There was multiple players in the move. So here comes the 0-1 pitch. There is a fastball swung on. It is grounded on one hop to the first baseman, Walsh. He makes the play backhanded. He races to the base. He beats Cordero there in time. That's going to go down as a ground out to 3 for the 2nd out of the inning. It's going to leave it all up to Bobby Dahlbeck. And talking about Franchy Cordero there, he started with the Padres organization, then he went to the Royals, and he was a part of that deal with the Royals, the Red Sox, and the Mets. Some of the combatants that the Royals or the Red Sox had got rid of, they had sent Andrew Benintendi to the Royals. And then there were other players that were moved around in the deal. Of course, Cordero was one of the players coming to the Red Sox. There's a fastball delivered to Dahlbeck that catches the outside corner. And the count is quickly 0-1. Dahlbeck got the first hit of the ball game today for the Red Sox. He had a single back in the 2nd inning. He was stranded at first. Here comes the pitch. It's a breaking ball that catches the inside corner, and the count now goes to 0-2. So no balls and 2 strikes to Dahlbeck. Right-hander against the right-hander. Ohtani gets his sign from his catcher, Stassi. He's ready to go back to work. Dahlbeck waggles the bat. And here's the pitch from Ohtani. It is a split finger pitch swung on and missed. And that is going to do it here for the Red Sox. 3 pitches to retire Dahlbeck. And he has gone on strikes. There was no runs, no hits, no errors, and nobody left the board here in the 4th. We're skipping along to the top of the 5th inning. We're all knotted up at zeros. Stick around, everybody. We'll be right back after this from our friend Steve Rademacher.
Domo arigato. Sorry if I mispronounced that. I'm new at this. Thank you for watching Last Raps Baseball. Tell all your friends and family to come check him out, ask some questions during the telecast, and give him a good sub and a thumbs up. And this is Steve coming back at you, and some new things on my channel. Star Wars figures that everybody likes. We have Mad magazines from the 1970s. We try to avoid the Noid. And for your pleasure, once in a while, we can open up Michael Jackson if you want, the cards. We have Elvis. We have Sadahar O. We love everything that is everything, so we even have the Beatles fighting with lightsabers. Look at that, John and George. Once in a while, we'll even have my brother take over my channel on a Tuesday. So once again, everybody tell your friends, come see Freddie at Last Raps Baseball. And right now, I'm going to kick it right back to you, Freddie.
Thanks again, Steve. We appreciate you and your support of the channel. And in return, we support Steve Rademacher. Stick around, everybody. We'll be back in just a moment with the call. The top of the fifth inning after this.
Hey, everybody. Thanks for checking out the game and Last Raps Baseball. This is Dave's Zero Thought Sports Card. If you like pack openings, baseball, all that good stuff, check us out. Drop a comment on our channel this month to win a mystery pack of cards. All you gotta do is say Last Rap sent you to be entered. And we'll drop a video later on this month announcing the winner. Enjoy the game.
Welcome back, everybody. We're here in the top of the fifth inning, and Rich Hill has come out to start his fifth inning of work. First pitch is a breaking ball delivered to Max Stassi that misses outside, and the count is 1-0. Stassi, Mayfield, and Marsh to face the left-hander Hill here in the fifth inning. Hill rocks into the motion. He kicks and delivers. There's a fastball swung on and fouled straight back. And the count is 1-1. So 1 ball and 1 strike to Stassi. Hill working from the third base side of that pitching rubber. He rocks into the motion. He kicks and he delivers. It's a breaking ball that misses down and in. Count is 2-1. I started talking about that in the last inning. We were talking about how sometimes pitchers will move side to side on the rubber to create some angles. But Hill is pretty much glued to the third base side of the rubber. He rocks into the motion and he kicks and delivers. There's a breaking ball that is swung on and missed. And the count now goes to 2-2 on Stassi. Hill's very effective at keeping the opposition hitters off balance. He really does a decent job of mixing his fastball with his breaking stuff and his changeup. Here's the 2-2 offering, and it's a breaking ball that misses down. And the count now is 3-2. So 3 balls and 2 strikes. So Stassi ready for the full count offering. He gets himself dug back in. The catcher for the Angels waiting on the delivery from Hill. Here comes Hill into the motion. He kicks and fires. It's a breaking ball swung on and missed. And Stassi is retired on strikes for out number 1 here in the fifth inning. And that now is the 5th strikeout here recorded by Rich Hill. When I'm watching Rich Hill pitch here sometimes, it's kind of, I know he's a longtime veteran of the big leagues. He almost reminds me of a positional player coming in to pitch late in the ball game with how he's throwing some of the stuff up to the plate. The only thing that's different is that he can hit his spots with his fastballs. His breaking balls just slowly float in there. There's a first pitch breaking ball delivered to Jack Mayfield that clocks at 70 miles an hour upstairs for ball 1. Hill ready to go back to work again, and there's a fastball at 88 that misses inside. The count now is 2-0. I would think that probably Hill, this could be his last inning of work, or might even possibly get maybe 1 more after this. So 2 balls and no strikes to Mayfield. Hill rocks into the windup and he kicks and fires. There's a fastball swung on. This ball is lifted foul over toward the first base side. It's going to get in behind the camera well and into the seats, and that's going to run the count to 2-1. So 2 balls and 1 strike. Mayfield will be followed by the center fielder, Brandon Marsh. Looks like they're maybe calling for some support there on the first base line. Somebody may have been hit by that foul ball. And here comes the pitch. It is a fastball swung on. This ball is lifted down the right field line. If it stays fair, it's going to be trouble, but it's going to be caught by Franchi Cordero as he runs into the stands. He's able to just pirouette off the wall. And that is going to be out number 2. So the way the right field stands, you run out a lot of real estate in a hurry, but that was at the point where it starts to open up a little bit more. And Cordero had to make sure that he's careful of where he's at in relation to the stands. A nice play by the right fielder, and that's going to leave it up to Brandon Marsh. We were doing that NPB game the other night. We were watching the game in the Sapporo Dome. The distance from the foul lines to the stands were absolutely massive. We're at Fenway Park here. You're right on top of the crowd. There's not much real estate in foul territory. There's a first pitch breaking ball that catches the inside corner for a called strike, and the count is 0-1 to Brandon Marsh. When they talk about friendly confines, whether it be Wrigley or whether it be Boston, there's a fastball that catches the outside corner for a called strike, and the count now is 0-2 on Marsh. You are literally right on top of the action. So here comes the 0-2 pitch. There's a breaking ball that misses way outside, and the count is 1-2. So 1 ball and 2 strikes to Marsh. When I say right on top of the action, as we said, it's only maybe 2 or 3 feet between the foul line and the stands. There's another breaking ball that misses way outside, and the count is 2-2. So 2 balls and 2 strikes to Marsh. Hill gets the sign from his catcher Stas. He rocks into the windup. He kicks and fires. There's another breaking ball well off the outside corner, and the count now goes to 3-2. One would have to think that this might be the last inning of work for Hill. They do have the righty Tanner Houck working there in the pen. So here comes the 3-2 offering. There's a breaking ball swung on and missed, and that is going to retire Marsh for the 3rd out of the inning. Yet another strikeout for Hill on the day, and he was very effective through his 5 innings of work. We'll keep an eye to see if he is done after this. There was no runs, no hits, no errors, and nobody left aboard. We're now through 4.5. It is the Angels nothing, the Red Sox nothing. Stick around, everybody. We'll be back in just a couple minutes with the call. On the bottom of the 5th inning, we're glad you all could be here today. Here is our friend Steve again.
Hey guys, and thank you, Freddie. Steve coming back at you. That's right, Steve Rademacher. I would like to thank each and every one of you that is tuned into my channel. And today, let's do a little shout out for some other great channels you should be watching. There is WVlogs 18. There's Big D's Sports and Collectibles. You all know another Hollis build. Why not Like Father, Like Son? That's a great duo that does some great stuff. It shows some great cards. And of course, the one and only Bud Stoney, creators of One of Ones, the creator of One of Ones, and they're all signed on the back. Bud Stoney, One of One, like this beautiful Robin Yount that he made for me. He made me another Robin Yount, this time mini, and a Christian Yelich mini. Great cards, and he does more than cards. We have darts of Hulk Hogan and many other things. So give them a look-see and give me another look-see. Subscribers are always welcome, and back to Freddie.
Welcome back, everybody. We're moving to the bottom of the 5th inning. It is going to be the 8, 9, and 1 hitters in the batting order to face Shohei Ohtani. That means Jackie Bradley Jr., Kevin Plawecki, and Trevor Story. And the first offering from Ohtani is a breaking ball taken for a called strike, and the count is 0-1 to Bradley Jr. For Jackie Bradley Jr., he's 0 for 1 today. He flew out to center field his first time up. Here comes the offering from Ohtani. It is a breaking ball swung on and missed. That runs now the count to 0-2. Curious to see if Ohtani is going to put Bradley away with some high heat here. That is definitely something that Bradley is got to be prepared for. And there's a fastball that is swung on, and this ball is lined foul down the right field line. It's going to bounce into the seats. The reason why I say I'd go after Bradley with the heat is that anything that's even remotely a little softer really speeds up his bat. He does have a hard time with the fastball, so let's see what Ohtani chooses to do this time. Here comes the 0-2 offering. He kicks and fires. There's a fastball at 99 that just misses inside. The count is 1-2. That was, I believe, the hardest pitch we've seen Ohtani throw all day. He's hit 98 a few times. That was 99 miles an hour just off the inside corner. So here comes the 1-2 offering. Ohtani kicks and delivers. It is a fastball swung on. It is slapped into right field. It's going to be a base hit. Moving over to field, it is Ward. Digging for two is Bradley Jr., and he's going to slide in safely head first. I think Ohtani is going to want to have that one back. That ball was absolutely smacked down into the right field corner by Bradley Jr. He's got himself a leadoff double here to begin the fifth inning. It's going to bring up the catcher, Kevin Plawecki. And the reason why I was a little bit miffed by that is because, as I said before, you don't want to speed up the bat of Jackie Bradley Jr. Anything off speed, he's going to be able to turn on, be able to hammer. And that's exactly what he did. So Bradley is aboard with a leadoff double here, and that's going to bring up the catcher Plawecki. He's 0 for 1 today. He flew out to right field his first time up. And here comes the first offering from Ohtani. It's a fastball taken for a called strike. Count is 0-1. That stood Plawecki up. The pitch was on the outside corner. You could tell he wasn't happy with the call by the home plate umpire, Paul Emmel. I know there's some websites that are out there where you can actually get the grading of the umpires. They'll let you know what the umpire did if they missed calls and those type of things. I'd be curious to see where Emmel would stand at the end of this game. There's a fastball swung on and missed, and the count is 0-2. Obviously, the notorious Angel Hernandez is one of the so-called worst ones. We got Big Ray in the house today. Says, hope we're having a rain-free day. Nope, we are either going to have to grow feathers or build an ark there, Big Ray, because the rain is with us. We are sucked in. So here comes the 0-2 offering to Plawecki. There's a fastball swung on, and that was a self-defense fastball swung on. It fouled away over on the first base side. And the count remains at 0-2. Yeah, definitely lots of rain all over the area. The Midwest was getting socked. The West Coast, the Pacific Northwest is getting hit. All kinds of places over the United States and Canada getting their fair share of rain. So here comes the 0-2 pitch to Kevin Plawecki as Ohtani holds set at the belt. He checks Bradley at second. He kicks and delivers. There's a fastball swung on. It is lifted into shallow right field. Coming hard is Ward. He slides. He makes the catch. He gets up and throws it in. It's cut off by the shortstop Velasquez. And that is going to hold the runner Bradley at second base. A really nice defensive play by Taylor Ward. The more I get a chance to watch Ward play, the more I really enjoy watching him play for the Angels. He has been very good with the stick and very good with the glove. A nice sliding catch. If that ball would have got by him, there would have been big trouble, but he is able to secure it and able to keep Bradley Jr. at second base, but that's going to bring up the top of the order, Trevor Story. For Story, he is 0 for 2 today against Ohtani, and both times he has struck out. His season average has dipped to 215. He's got no homers and 9 runs batted in. Ohtani gets the signal from his catcher Stassi, and he comes set at the belt. And now he kicks and fires. There is a breaking ball swung on and missed. And the count is 0-1. So no balls and 1 strike to Trevor Story. Story's production in terms of home runs is a little bit of an eyebrow raiser as it is May the 5th. He hasn't hit anything yet. We know Colorado always has those inflated numbers for the offense, but certainly in Fenway, it is a hitter-friendly park. There's a fastball swung on and missed, and the count now goes to 0-2 on Story. So that is an area of concern, or something if I'm a Red Sox fan, I'd be a little bit worried about. And not just if I was a Red Sox fan, just a fan of Trevor Story in general. So no balls and 2 strikes. Ohtani leans in. He gets the sign from his catcher Stassi. He holds set at the belt. He checks Bradley Jr. at second. And now he kicks and fires. There's a fastball at 97 miles an hour that misses upstairs, and the count goes to 1-2. So 1 ball and 2 strikes to Trevor Story. It's a lovely day for baseball in Boston. Certainly in Beantown, the weather is nice. They said it was partly cloudy when the game started, but we've seen more sun than we have cloud. Obviously, it did affect the play by Jackie Bradley Jr. in center field, letting that ball fall for a single for Ohtani. And there is a breaking ball swung on and missed. And Story is gone for the 3rd time today via the strikeout. And he has retired for out number 2, and that's going to bring up Rafael Devers. In my books, that is strikeout number 8 for Shohei Ohtani here today. I just did a little bit of quick math. After you double check that one, but number 8 in the books. Ohtani is cruising here in the 5th inning. So Rafael Devers steps to the plate. He's been aboard twice today. He struck out his first time up, but reached on a wild pitch. He singled his last time up in the 3rd inning. So 1 for 2 officially on the day. Ohtani holds at the belt. He checks the runner at second. He kicks and delivers. There's a fastball at 100 miles an hour. Misses upstairs, and the count is 1-0. That was the fastest pitch delivered today by Ohtani. So 1 ball and no strikes. Devers has pulled his season average up to 290. Not sure what's going on here, if it's Plawecki or if it's Devers. Devers is looking back at the plate umpire. Devers has a very open stance that he begins with. He holds his hands high. The bat is a bit laggard. And here comes the offering. It is a fastball swung on and fouled away. And the count goes to 1-1. So 1 ball and 1 strike to Devers. So here is the offering now to Devers with 1-1. There's 2 away here in the bottom of the 5th inning. Ohtani gets the sign from his catcher Stassi, and now he's ready to deliver. He kicks and fires. There's a breaking ball swung on and missed. Now the count goes to 1-2. Be curious to hear how the hand of the pitcher or the hand of the catcher is when they have to catch somebody throwing 100 miles an hour. I remember catching bullpens about 12, 13 years ago for one of the college teams I was with, and you're getting guys that are throwing in the low 90s, and sometimes your hand is like you just stuck it on a table and pounded it with a mallet. There's a 100-mile-an-hour fastball slung on and fouled away. The count remains at 1-2, and obviously, the more you catch, the better you are at getting it in the web and not so much into the palm of the glove. Sometimes if you're getting sliders or hard sliders, you don't have always that time. You're trying to backhand the ball as best as possible to make that catch, especially from the left-handers that are throwing. You don't always get it in the same spot. Sometimes it's in the palm of the hand and not into the web. And it really causes a lot of swelling in the hand. So here comes the 1-2 pitch. But I'd be curious to see what Stassi's hand looks like after catching Ohtani. And there is a fastball that is taken for a called 3rd strike. Devers goes down looking for out number 3. So a leadoff double by Jackie Bradley Jr. is left stranded at second. For the Red Sox in their half of the 5th inning, no runs, 1 hit, no errors, and 1 runner left aboard. They've now left 5 through 5 innings against Ohtani. We're now through 5 complete. It is the Angels nothing and the Red Sox nothing. Stick around, everybody. We'll be back in just a couple moments with the call of the top of the 6th inning. Here's our friend Matt.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Namaste. Hey, I hope you guys have been enjoying the game.
My name is Hollis. I've got a YouTube channel called Another Hollis Build. I love baseball cards. I open up brand new product for you guys. I open up old stuff. I do breaks. I do auctions. All kinds of stuff concerning baseball. I'm Friars faithful, Padres to the end. I also love Garbage Pail Kids and my animals. I have a ton of animals. It's like a mini petting zoo here around my house. I also love my city, San Diego, baby. I take you all around the city and show you what's up. If you guys dig stuff like that, cruise on over and check it out. It's Another Hollis Build. If you dig it, subscribe. I'd really appreciate to have more follow me along on the journey. Hey, either way, you guys have a wonderful day or a beautiful, beautiful evening. No matter which one it is, make sure that you make it great, my friends. Big up Last Raps Baseball. Yeah, Freddie, let's go. One love and peace. Yeah, man.
Welcome back, everybody. We're moving to the top half of the sixth inning. It's going to be Andrew Velasquez, Taylor Ward, and David Fletcher to face, well, it's supposed to be Rich Hill. We're going to take a peek to see if Tanner Houck is coming into the ballgame. It looks like they were heating him up pretty good. I don't know if it's going to be Hill to come back to start inning number 6. We'll get that information in just a moment, but it is going to be Tanner Houck coming in. Houck is going to be taking over in relief here. If you haven't seen Tanner Houck pitch, he is a real treat in my opinion. Houck is going to be coming in. He is a top prospect for the Red Sox, and there's a first pitch fastball ticket for a called strike, and the count is 0-1 to Velasquez. So Hill's day is done. A fantastic day on the mound for Rich Hill today, as he was able to work his 5 innings of magic. 5 innings allowed 1 hit, 1 walk, and struck out 6. There's a fastball at 96 miles an hour that misses off the outside corner, and the count now goes to 1-1 to Velasquez. Houck is 2-1 on the season. This is his 6th appearance. He's started 3 games. He's worked 18 2/3 innings. He's pitched to an ERA of 2.41, and there is a breaking ball swung on and fouled away. The count is now 1-2 on Velasquez. Velasquez on the season has seen his average dip to 135. As we said before, he is a journeyman shortstop. As glove will travel. The problem is he doesn't really bring the bat with him. And here comes the 1-2 offering, and it is a breaking ball swung on and missed. Velasquez is gone on strikes for out number 1 here in the 6th inning. It's going to bring up the top of the order, Taylor Ward. The thing about Velasquez, at least in my mind, and now, of course, they have only had a couple of base runners today have the Angels, the 1 hit by Ohtani and the walk to Taylor Ward. He'd be a guy that I would be having to bunt and bunt regular, especially if there's guys on to move him over. Try to get the job done, get it into play, do your job, and move on along. Because his bat has a whole lot of holes in it. There's a first pitch breaking ball delivered to Ward. He takes it for a called strike, and the count is 0-1. Ward is officially 0-1 today. He struck out looking his first time up, and he walked in the 4th inning. So 0-1 today. Here comes the Tanner Houck delivery, and it is a fastball taken for a called strike at the knees, and the count now is 0-2. So no balls and 2 strikes. Ward will be followed by David Fletcher here in the 6th inning. There's a breaking ball taken for a called 3rd strike. Ward stood there like the house by the side of the road and watched it go by for out number 2. So 2 up and 2 in the books as strikeouts for Tanner Houck. That's going to bring up the second baseman, David Fletcher. Started talking a little bit about David Fletcher earlier, saying that Fletcher's locked up until the really until the 2025 season. Then there's 2 years of club or team options for 2026 and 2027. There's a breaking ball that comes in for a called strike, and the count is 0-1. So Fletcher is in the midst. He signed the extension last year. It's really the first year of a 5-year extension where we're at now. And here comes the pitch, and it is a fastball that misses way outside. The count is 1-1. So he's under contract. As we said, he has the options. The earliest he could become a free agent is 2026. But it's a very disappointing year, or at least start to the campaign for Fletcher. He had a pretty decent year last year. Last season, he hit .262, a couple of homers and 47 RBIs. He stole some bases. There's a breaking ball that drops in for a called strike, and the count is 1-2. So I think that'd be an area of concern for the Angels. Why is his production dropped off immensely? He's a lifetime .279 hitter. Now, mind you, he's only got, this is his 30th at bat. And there's a fastball swung on and fouled away. Count remains at 1-2. So our areas of concern and the slow start for Fletcher here. Is he healthy? Even though sometimes guys were hurt and started the year on the disabled list, is he healthy enough to be able to play at the big league level right now? Maybe even extra week or so rather than rushing him back would have helped the Angels for some production. But it is what it is, and that's where we're at. So here comes the 1-2 offering to Fletcher. And Houck kicks and fires. It is a breaking ball swung on and missed. And Houck has struck out the side here in the top of the 6th inning. For the Angels, there was no runs, no hits, no errors, and nobody left aboard. Comes in relief for his first inning of work. And he was absolutely brilliant. Now we're moving to the bottom of the 6th inning. It is all knotted up at 0. Stick around, everybody. We'll be back in just a couple minutes. We're glad you guys could tune in here with us today. Here is one of our Did You Knows, and it happens to be David Fletcher.
Let's go. Yo, I'm like an addict, do I gotta have it. I ain't even playing, got a really bad habit. If it moves, gotta grab it, fuse like a magnet. Lose, won't have it till I'm doomed in a casket. I ain't playing, got a weird mind. If you work 8 hours, I'ma work 9. If the shoot tastes sour, you should taste mine. I'ma stay in power for a long time. Get up, nah, I ain't a quitter. Toss me the ball, I'm a really big hitter. Big picture, I'm a straight killer. Rising the song to the highest bidder. Got juice, got gas, I'ma move fast. New shoes, new tracks, like who's that? I'm new, come back, better than last. Yeah, it's a new me, never.
Welcome back, everybody. We are moving to the bottom of the 6th inning. We are all knotted up at 0s. It is going to be Xander Bogaerts, JD Martinez, and Alex Verdugo to face the right-hander Shohei Ohtani. Ohtani has been absolutely brilliant in his 5 innings of work. He has scattered 4 hits. He's walked none and struck out 9 today. He has thrown 71 pitches, and 60 of them have been for strikes. That's absolutely incredible. It may be even too good at the big league level sometimes, because when you're that much around the plate, you got to be able to show that you can miss a little bit or miss closely. But that is an impressive strike rate, to say the least. And he is ready to go back to work here, as he's going to be facing the 3, 4, and 5 hitters in the Red Sox batting order. Hits a bit at a premium today for both teams. The Angels only have 1 hit. The Red Sox have 4. They've not been able to cash in on the small opportunities that they have had. I think this game will probably come down to a mistake or an error, maybe an overthrow or maybe something that even doesn't show up in the box score. Possibly even a missed sacrifice bunt opportunity. You don't always necessarily see those things. So here comes the first offering from Ohtani as Bogaerts digs in. Ohtani kicks and fires. There's a breaking ball swung on it, missed. And the count is quickly 0-1. For Bogaerts today, he is 1 for 2. He singled his last time up. He struck out back in the first. He bats from the right side against the right-hander Ohtani. Leans in and gets his sign from Stassi, and he's ready to go back to work. Here comes the 0-1 offering. He kicks and fires. It is a breaking ball that is swung on and missed. And the count now goes to 0-2. So no balls and 2 strikes to Xander Bogaerts. Ohtani blowing on his hand. It is a cool day. As we said, it was 63 degrees at game time. Ohtani leans in and he's getting the sign from Stassi. Bogaerts waits on the offering, and here comes the 0-2. He kicks and fires. It is a breaking ball swung on and missed. And Bogaerts has gone on strikes for the first out of the inning. 1 up and 1 away, and that'll bring up JD Martinez. That is strikeout number 10 in the books for Ohtani. He is on fire today. I'm curious to see what kind of leash that they all have Ohtani, how far they're going to let him roll. I think if it was me, I'd let him go to about 100 pitches, or maybe even more. If he was in the Japanese league, he'd probably be good for about 135 before they even get somebody up. So JD Martinez steps in, and the first pitch to JD Martinez is a breaking ball that misses, and the count is 1-0. We looked on the strike zone we're provided, and we might have an argument on that one. Pitch looked pretty good from Ohtani, but that would be a good miss. 1 ball, no strikes to Martinez. The pitch is a fastball swung and fouled away. The count goes to 1-1. Martinez today is officially 0 for 2. He bounced into a fielder's choice to end the first inning. He struck out back in the third. So 1 ball and 1 strike to Martinez. And here comes the offering. It is a fastball swung on. This ball is lifted down in the left field corner. Digging for 2 is Martinez. Here comes the throw, and it's overthrown. It's over the head of Fletcher, but a nice play by the first baseman, Walsh, to back up the play. And he's got himself a double. They may have had a crack at him at second base, but JD Martinez has got a 1-out double here in the 6th inning. We watched that again. He absolutely turned on it. I wasn't sure that ball was going to stay fair. He hook-barreled it. The ball short-hopped the wall in left field. It was a nice play by the left fielder, Mayfield, to get over to cut it off, but the throw to second base was abysmal. It was over top of Fletcher, and a nice play by the first baseman backing it up, but there was no damage. It'll go in the books as a double. That's going to bring up Alex Verdugo. For Alex Verdugo, he entered the game today hitting .227 with 3 homers and 13 RBIs to his name. Takes a first pitch breaking ball inside for ball 1, and the count is 1-0. So 1 ball and no strikes to Verdugo. Verdugo today is 0 for 2. He grounded to second, and he is struck out. Ohtani checks the runner Martinez at second. And he kicks and delivers. There's a fastball at 100 miles an hour that misses down and away, and the count goes to 2-0. They do have an open base at first base, and Franchi Cordero is waiting on deck. They don't necessarily have to give Verdugo anything great to hit. Cordero has showed that he is what I would call overmatched against the Japanese right-hander. And also take your chances or your risks to be able to set up a double play possibility. So 2 balls and no strikes to Verdugo. Ohtani checks the runner at second. And he kicks and delivers. There's a breaking ball swung on and fouled away. Runs the count now to 2-1 on Verdugo. So 2 balls and 1 strike. Big Ray says Otani is a once-in-a-generation type player. He hopes he stays healthy and becomes one of the all-time greats. I've got some video of Otani, and he had his start in Seattle a few years ago. They were showing before the game when he was warming up the fans that were crowded around just watching him warm up. And some of the photos that I have, you weren't 3 or 4 people deep from the railing. You were about 10 people deep from the railing. There was just that many fans just in awe of the Japanese right-hander watching him do his pregame warm-ups. And here comes the pitch. There's a fastball that swung on and fouled away. Count now is 2-2 on Verdugo. Got a chance to see him in Seattle, and I believe that day he took the loss. I can't remember exactly. I have to go back into my own records, but I could probably even pull that up. That was, I believe, in 2018, his rookie season, and it was Otani Mania. And certainly on the West Coast, there's a lot of Japanese people with Japanese heritage that were in attendance to watch him pitch that day. So here comes the 2-2 offering. It's a fastball swung on and fouled away. The count remains at 2-2 to Verdugo. So 2 balls and 2 strikes. The Red Sox have been able to claw out some hits as they have 5 on the afternoon against the Japanese right-hander. They just haven't been able to get enough hits or clutch hits to do something with it. The impressive part has been that Otani has walked nobody here today, and just the amount of strikes that he's been able to throw this far. So here comes the 2-2 offering to Verdugo. Otani leans in and gets the sign from Stassi. The crowd in Boston is starting to chant a little bit here, cheering their home team on. And here's the pitch, and instead Verdugo has called time because he feels that Otani has taken too much time. Otani was just about ready to deliver the pitch. He started to deliver, and then he had to come to a stop. So 2 balls and 2 strikes to Verdugo. They're going to reset themselves and do this all over again. Verdugo, what stands out about him is he's got these arm pads, and he's got on his hands, they're all in gold. So his elbow guard, his hand guard, everything is in gold. And there is a breaking ball swung on. It's grounded on 2 hops to second. It's fielded by Fletcher. He throws to first. It's going to move J.D. Martinez over to third. So it is a good piece of hitting by Verdugo. Even though he grounds out, he advances the runner. He's the second out of the inning, so he'll get a round of applause in Boston for that one. That's going to bring up Franchy Cordero. For Cordero, he is 0 for 2. He's grounded out to the second baseman, and he's also grounded to first his 2 times up. So Cordero 0 for 2 on the day. And here comes the first offering from Otani. It's a first pitch fastball swung on and fouled away. And the count is 0-1. One would have to think that Franchy Cordero is going to get some opportunity here, but what he does with this opportunity is yet to be determined. I say that because Cordero, how many more do you stick at the big league level? The hourglass is starting to run out. They always like to say that you're a prospect until you're 25, and after you're 25, you become a suspect. And there is a fastball swung on, it's jammed on the fists. Velasquez, moving to his right, has to leap and make the catch. And that is going to retire Cordero. They had the shift on, and the shortstop was over to the second base side of the infield. He had to race to his right, and he leaps and makes the catch. A fantastic play by the shortstop. And that is going to do it here for the Red Sox in their half of the 6th inning. They had no runs. They had 1 hit. There were no errors, and they stranded 1 runner at third. That was Martinez. We're now going to the top of the 7th inning. We're all knotted up at 0. Stick around, everybody. We'll be back in just a few with all the call. We're glad you could stop by today. Here is our friend Matt again.
Well, you've got to have an ace in the hole, a little secret that nobody knows. Life is a gamble, a game we all play, but you've got to save something for a rainy day. You've got to learn to play your cards right if you expect to win in life. Don't put it all on the line for just one roll. You've got to have an ace in the hole.
Welcome back, everybody. We'll be back in just a couple minutes as we're moving to the top of the 7th inning. We're all knotted up at zeros in Boston. Glad you guys could pop in here and say it. Hang tight, everybody. We'll be right back in just a moment. We're glad you're with us. Welcome back, everybody. It's going to be the 3, 4, and 5 hitters in the order to face Tanner Houck. That means Shohei Ohtani, Anthony Rendon, and Jared Walsh. The first pitch delivered to Ohtani is a fastball that misses outside. The count is 1-0. For Ohtani today, he is 1 for 2. He singled in the 4th inning. He grounded out in the 1st inning to the first baseman, so 1 for 2 today. And here comes the offering from Houck. It's a breaking ball taken for a called strike, and the count is 1-1. Ohtani is an absolute stud. He is a generational type talent for sure. You see guys that come along once in every 20 some odd years. And he is one of those out of Japan. There's a fastball that's missing upstairs, and the count is now 2-1 to Ohtani. And not only that, when you think of Japanese just in general, that they're not a big culture in terms of size. I've been to Japan, and when I've been on the subways, I feel like I'm a full head taller than everybody else. I'm just shy of 6'2", but I'm absolutely massive compared to a lot of the people there. So Shohei Ohtani, who stands at 6'4", he is the exception and not the rule in that country. As it's 2 balls and 2 strikes here to Ohtani. And here comes the offering from Houck. It is a breaking ball swung on, and Ohtani has fouled it off right into his shin. He's on his knees. He's going to have to wander around a little bit there. And for anybody who's ever experienced fouling off a fastball into their leg, that hurts like you wouldn't believe. And he's hobbling around. He's going to have to walk that one off. It is 2-2 to Ohtani. But now he nods and says that he's ready to go back to work. It was definitely a long swing. He got it right on the inside of the right ankle. So 2 balls and 2 strikes. Ohtani waiting on the offering from the right-hander Houck. And he kicks and fires. There's a breaking ball that misses outside. That now runs the count full to Ohtani. So 3 balls and 2 strikes it is. It'll be Rendon and Walsh here to follow in the 7th inning. So here comes the 3-2 offering to Ohtani. Houck kicks and fires. It's a breaking ball swung on. It is lifted into center field. Moving over is Jackie Bradley Jr. to his right. He's going to make the grab. That is going to retire Ohtani for the first out here in the 7th. So 1 up and 1 away, and that'll bring up Anthony Rendon. One thing I'm curious to see about this Ohtani and the DH rule that they've got in place for these two-way players. As Ohtani did get the start today. He did get the start. If they take him out of the ball game in mid-inning, and they bring in the pitcher, I believe they can still leave him in as the designated hitter. I think that's kind of a cool rule. I think it's actually something that, of all the rule changes that baseball wants to make, I think that is one of the rule changes that I like the best. They don't have to keep him in as a positional player. And they don't have to bring in another pitcher to hit. There's the first pitch breaking ball delivered to Rendon, and he slings and fouls it off, and the count is 0-1. Rendon today is 0 for 2. He has flown out to right and has struck out in his 2 times to the plate. So no balls and 1 strike to Rendon. KK asked the question if I've been twice, and was supposed to go back again. There's a fastball swung on and fouled away, and the count is now 0-2. Had a chance to get to Tokyo on 2 occasions. I've also been to Osaka and Kyoto, all pretty cool spots. A wonderful country, very nice people, peaceful, especially for the amount of people that live on that island. It's unbelievable. And very, very quiet, a lot of respect. And there is a breaking ball that is swung on and fouled away, and that is going to keep the count at no balls and 2 strikes to Rendon. And the food is good. The people are polite. What more can you ask for? So no balls and 2 strikes. And very hospitable. And here comes the offering from Houck. It's a fastball that swung on and fouled away. And the catcher, Plawicki, has to turn because the umpire wore that one. Turns right around to check on Paul Emmel. Emmel's kind of laughing it off a little bit, but that ball was definitely, he took the brunt of that one. You ever get a foul ball that comes back, especially if you get hit in the mask, that can really stiffen you up. I remember taking one in the mask one time, and it felt like your jaw was loose for about 2 or 3 innings after that. There's nothing worse than getting a foul ball straight back into the mask for anybody who's officiated, especially when you're doing a decent level of ball. Well, here's the 0-2. There's a fastball that misses upstairs, and the count now runs to 1-2 to Rendon. So 1 ball and 2 strikes. My first foray to Asia was to Japan. And it's really been my only time I've been to Asia, but a great opportunity nonetheless. And here's the pitch. It is a breaking ball that misses down and away. The appeal down to Nestor Sena, the first base umpire. He says Rendon didn't go either, so the count is now 2-2. So 2 balls and 2 strikes to Rendon. This game needs a run here from either team as we're deadlocked at 0s in the 7th. There's a fastball that comes in at 93 miles an hour that backs Rendon off the plate. The count now is full to Rendon. The one thing that's neat about when you're in Japan, there's a lot of nuances when you're in other countries, but nuance number 1 is when you're in Japan, you're not on your cell phone on the trains or on the buses, and there's a breaking ball that swung on and fouled back, and again it catches the home plate umpire, but this time it catches him in the leg. Not the catcher's fault on these. He's got no chance to stop the ball. That ball bounced up, and now Anthony Rendon's getting a laugh. I don't think Paul Emmel's laughing like he was the first time. The first time he took it right in the padding. This time here, he looked like it bounced up and got him in the leg. So 3 balls and 2 strikes. But you can't wait to get Anthony Rendon out of the box. He's been clobbered twice by him. So here's the 3-2 pitch. There's a breaking ball that misses down and away. And Houck allows his first base runner since coming into the ballgame as Rendon's got himself a 1-out walk. He's bored with a single. But back to talking about Japan a little bit. When you're on the buses or the subways, you can text on your phone, but you can't talk on your phone. People will give you a dirty look, or they'll tell you, hey, get off the phone. And when you think about how many people are on there and how they're packed in, I know certainly the subway systems or the transit systems that I'm on, sometimes in the Pacific Northwest, just want to take somebody's phone and throw it out the window. They're so loud on the phone. It's incredible. There's a first pitch breaking ball delivered to Walsh. She takes it for a called strike, and the count is 0-1. People don't realize that we really don't want to hear your conversation that you're talking to your boyfriend or girlfriend or to your grandmother about. But let alone when they're talking so loud, you don't even have to think that they need the phone. There's a fastball that's outside. It squirts away from the catcher as it's off the glove of the catcher Plawicki, and down to second is going to go Walsh. We're going to have to get a replay of that one, but I would say that's probably a pass ball. That ball's got to be caught. It wasn't a great pitch by Houck. Plawicki had to go out and get it, but that ball definitely at this level has to be caught. So that advances Rendon over to second. We'll get the official score for that on that call in just a moment. So 1 ball and 1 strike it is, and here comes the offering from Houck. He kicks and he fires, and it is a breaking ball swung on and fouled away. It's grounded past the first base dugout, and that runs the count now to 1-2 on Walsh. By Rendon getting down to second base, that eliminates the possibility of a double play. They actually ruled it as a wild pitch. So wild pitch in the book, charge to Tanner Houck. I know it was outside. I know that the catcher had to flip his glove over, but truthfully, that ball had to be caught at this particular level. So Tanner Houck gets tagged with the wild pitch. And here's the breaking ball swung on. This ball is lifted down the line in right field. If it stays fair, it's going to be trouble. And this ball is going to sail into the seats, and it's a 2-run homer for Jared Walsh. He's got the Angels on the board here in the 7th inning. Get hooked around the pesky pole and was able to stay fair. That was definitely a home run that would not have made it out of most ballparks, but in Boston it does. And the Angels are on the board 2-0 on the 2-run shot by Jared Walsh. So a very successful first inning of relief by Houck has turned sideways here in the 7th. He got the first batter out on a fly ball, then a walk, a wild pitch, and a home run. Have the Angels up in front 2-0. We had to wait on that one because you had to see if it was going to stay fair or not. And here's the first pitch offering to Max Stassi. It's a breaking ball taken for a called strike, and the count is 0-1. So Stassi batting now. He's 0 for 2. He's flown out to center, and he has struck out his 2 times up. There's a fastball that misses inside, and the count now is 1-1. I have to say, I'm watching Kevin Plawecki's glove work behind the plate, and it's a little bit to be desired. Now, I don't know if that's because the way that Tanner Houck is pitching and that he's missing some spots here, but I really don't like the way that Plawecki's receiving the ball. There's a breaking ball that swung on and missed, and the count goes to 1-2. His ability to work his glove is not great. So 1 ball and 2 strikes. Here comes the offering from Houck. It is a breaking ball that misses down and away. And the count now goes to 2-2. So 2 balls and 2 strikes to Stassi. If you're somebody who likes to walk and enjoys to walk, Japan is a great foot passenger destination as well. There's a fastball delivered to Stassi. He takes a called third strike at the knees. And he is retired on strikes for the 2nd out of the inning, and that is going to bring up Jack Mayfield. For Mayfield today, he is 0 for 2. He has struck out and flown to right. Those were both against the starter, Tanner Houck. Just talking a little bit more about the country of Japan. The other thing that's interesting is there's police on pretty much what seems like every major corner. There's a breaking ball that misses down to Mayfield, and the count is 1-0. There's a large police presence all throughout Japan, whether you're in Osaka or Tokyo or all points in between. There was a fastball delivered to Mayfield that misses upstairs, and the count is now 2-0. So they definitely have that at their disposal. So 2 balls and no strikes to Mayfield. And you can be pretty much totally safe wherever you go in Japan. There's a breaking ball taken for a called strike, and the count is now 2-1 to Mayfield. You never have to fear anywhere. Or at least you don't feel like you have to fear anywhere. Most people are walking around all over the place. Don't never feel like you're going to get mugged or attacked. And there's a breaking ball that is swung on, is popped up into shallow center field. Coming in on it is Jackie Bradley Jr. He's going to make the catch, and that is going to retire Mayfield for the third out of the inning. But the damage has been done here by the Angels. They get 2 runs on the homer by Jared Walsh. There was 1 hit. There were no errors, and nobody left the board. We're now moving to the bottom of the 7th inning. It is the Angels 2, the Red Sox nothing. Stick around, everybody. We'll be back in just a couple moments. What they call the bottom of the 7th inning. We're glad you guys could make it in here today. Here is our friend Dave.
Hey, everybody. Thanks for checking out the game and Last Raps Baseball. This is Dave's Zero O'Clock Sports Card. If you like pack openings, baseball, all that good stuff, check us out. Drop a comment on our channel this month to win a mystery pack of cards. All you gotta do is say Last Rap sent you to be entered. And we'll drop a video later on this month announcing the winner. Enjoy the game.
Welcome back, everybody. And while we're talking about Japan, we're going to give you one of our Japanese Baseball Hall of Fame memories. We usually run these during the Japanese games, so check this out. We'll be back in just a moment.
This is Steve Rademacher, and I'd like to introduce you to my channel if you haven't seen it before. These are all the things I enjoy: sports, autographs, relics, non-sports Hall of Famers, pseudo-sports, Star Wars. That's my channel name and my name, and I would really appreciate it if you would come check me out and maybe even subscribe if you like it. Thank you for that for now, and back to your ball game.
Welcome back, everybody. We're moving to the bottom of the 7th inning. It's going to be the 7, 8, and 9 hitters in the batting order to face Shohei Ohtani, Bobby Dahlbeck, Jackie Bradley Jr., and Kevin Plawecki. And the first offering from Ohtani is a breaking ball taken for a called strike, and the count is quickly 0-1 to Dahlbeck. 85 pitches through the first 6 innings for Ohtani. One would think that he's probably going to be done here after the 7th inning. We'll have to wait and see what Joe Madden has in mind. Here comes the offering. It's a fastball. This ball is lifted into shallow left field. Moving over underneath it is Jack Mayfield. He's going to make the catch. Just like that, we've got 1 up and 1 away here in the 7th. That is going to bring up the center fielder, Jackie Bradley Jr. For Jackie Bradley Jr., he is 1 for 2 today. He has flown out to center field, and he doubled his last time up. Watching that last sequence, and we were saying about attacking JBJ with fastballs rather than the breaking stuff, because he was able to turn a breaking ball into a double. The first pitch is a breaking ball, and it is swung on and is lifted into right field. This ball is going to get down in front of Taylor Ward. And again, I question why they're attacking him with the breaking ball. That's his second hit of the ball game. They're making Jackie Bradley Jr. look like a 300 hitter, and he is definitely not that. But good for you on the day, Jackie Bradley. That's your second hit. He entered the game hitting 181, but he's 2 for 3 today. That's going to bump him up quite a bit. That's going to bring up the catcher, Kevin Plawecki. There is action in the Angels bullpen as Aaron Loop is now up and throwing. The much-traveled left-hander looking to get himself hot to come into the ball game. So here comes the first offering to Plawecki. Ohtani kicks and delivers. It's a fastball that misses outside. And the count is 1 ball and no strikes. Plawecki today is 0 for 2, and he's been retired the same way twice. Fly ball and a line drive to right field. The living room is in. He says he watched the Ken Kaiser clip last night. And there is a breaking ball that is swung on and missed. And the count is 1-1. So for those of you who are listening in, and whether you're listening on Twitch or listening on YouTube, we have the chat here. We were telling a story the other day about Ken Kaiser, the former umpire, about him where he would do things where he'd roll the ball back to the pitcher when he'd get ticked off at him. You don't see that in today's game much anymore. There's a fastball swung on and fouled away, and the count goes to 1-2 on Plawecki. But Ken Kaiser was a former wrestler. He used to wrestle in whatever you want to call the WWF or whatever, and it was maybe pre-WWF days, but he used to be one of those so-called fake wrestlers. He was a big guy. He was kind of a crazy guy. Passed away a few years ago, probably a little bit too soon, but some of the umpires had some interesting lifestyles back in that era as well. There's the 1-2 pitch, and it is a fastball swung on and fouled away. And the count remains at 1-2. Our friend Big Ray says some days you just get in the zone, and Jackie Bradley definitely has Ohtani's number today for sure. Whatever he is seeing, he sees it. But as I said, I would attack Bradley Jr. with more fastballs than I would the breaking stuff. He seems to be right on that for Ohtani. So here comes the offering to Plawecki. It's a breaking ball swung on it. It's popped up into shallow left field. Moving back on it is the shortstop Velasquez. He makes the catch with his back to the infield. And then he throws it back in. That is going to retire Plawecki for out number 2. And that is going to bring up the second baseman, Trevor Story. Speaking of players who now on the other side, Ohtani has the number of, that would be of this fella. Story today is 0 for 3. He's gone down all via the strikeout. So he's got the sombrero. They're looking for the golden sombrero right now is Ohtani. Story's average has dipped to 213 on the season. He bats from the right side against the right-hander Ohtani as Ohtani is ready to go back to work. He kicks and delivers. There's a break ball that misses up and away. The count is 1-0. One would have to think this is probably going to be the last hitter of the ball game for Ohtani either way. They've got a left-hander in Rafael Devers waiting on deck and a left-hander in Aaron Loop up in the bullpen. So here comes the offering the Story. It's a fastball that misses upstairs. The count is now 2-0. Living Room jumps in and says, Ken Kaiser worked as a professional wrestler wearing a black hood and being known as the Hatchet Man. In his brief stint as a professional wrestler, he wrestled famous opponents as Haystack Calhoun. I remember that name. Interesting. So here comes the offering from Ohtani. He kicks and delivers. It's a fastball that misses upstairs, and the count now is 3-0 to Story. So definitely if Story is done, now you've got to think this is going to be the 97th pitch. Joe Madden has just got his head in his hand. You got to be able to get this guy. As the left-handed hitting, Devers waits on deck. And I can just almost see this happening. They walk Story, they take out Ohtani, and Loop gives up a 3-run shot, and the Angels will be down in the hole, and Madden will be shaking his head. There's a fastball taken for a called strike. And now it's 3-1. So that's my prediction. If you're a Red Sox fan listening in here, you're probably saying, yeah, let's hope that comes true. If you're an Angel fan, you probably left the chat. So 3 balls and 1 strike to Story. I think if I'm the Red Sox, I might want to anchor the bat to Story's shoulder here and see if he can throw you another pitch for a strike. Here comes the 3-1 offering from Ohtani. He kicks and delivers. It's a fastball swung on and missed. And now the count runs full to Story. So 3 balls and 2 strikes. There's 2 out here in the 7th. The runner at first is Jackie Bradley Jr. The count is full to Story. Comes pitch number 99 from Ohtani. He leans in and he gets the signal from his catcher, Stassi. And here comes the offering from Ohtani. It's a fastball swung on and missed. And Otani turns and gives a little fuss pump, and Story goes down for the 4th time today on strikes. You don't see a lot of emotion out of Shohei Otani, but certainly that time you do. There was no runs, 1 hit, no errors, and 1 runner left the board. That's seeming to be the theme and the story for the Red Sox today. That is 7 runners left on base. And your score after 7 complete, it is 2-0 for the Los Angeles Angels. Stick around, everybody. We'll be back in just a couple moments with the call of the 8th inning. Be back after this. We're glad you're with us. Welcome back, everybody. We're moving to the top of the 8th inning. It's going to be Brandon Marsh, Andrew Velasquez, and Taylor Ward to come to bat. We're talking a little bit of wrestling because that was how we got it going. Ken Kaiser, the former Major League umpire, we talked about him doing his duty as a wrestler. And then he is there. Yes, the Japanese do love their wrestling. I have a beat on some Japanese women wrestling cards. We have a little bit of that we might dabble into. And that's kind of funny. But Japanese wrestling is fascinating for sure. There's a first pitch fastball that misses out and away, and the count is 1-0 to Marsh. I was thinking about grabbing some of that stuff. Certainly some of the things that we're interested in, obviously, the baseball cards from the NPB are out. Here comes the pitch. It's a breaking ball taken for a called strike, and the count now is 1 ball and 1 strike to Marsh. But certainly the stuff is very, very interesting. Japanese women wrestlers. So here comes the 1-1 offering. It's a fastball that misses up and away, and the count is now 2-1. So 2 balls and 1 strike to Marsh. Tanner Houck is on in his 3rd inning of relief of Rich Hill. Rich Hill was absolutely sensational today. Houck, other than the 2-run shot, that's the only hit that he's allowed. There's a fastball swung on and missed, and the count goes to 2-2. The only mistake that he made was to Jared Walsh after walking Anthony Rendon, the batter, before. So 2 balls and 2 strikes. And Houck holds at the chest. He delivers. There's a breaking ball swung on it. Is lifted into left field. This ball is going to get down in front of Verdugo. It's going to bleed down by the foul line. And Brandon Marsh has got himself a leadoff single here in the 8th inning. And he is aboard, and that's going to bring up Andrew Velasquez. While you are playing in Boston, you have a 2-run lead, which could evaporate fairly quickly. But nevertheless, I think what I would be doing in this situation with Velasquez at the plate, you got to be thinking about bunting over here. You got to get Marsh somehow into scoring position. And Andrew Velasquez does not swing a great bat. So I'm interested to see what Joe Madden is thinking here in this situation. And here comes the first offering from Tanner Houck. And Houck steps off, and returning back to first base is the base runner, Marsh. To me, this would be good fundamental baseball. Velasquez batting .132 on the season. They throw over to first base, and diving back in time is Marsh. And the reason they threw over to first base is sometimes you'll be able to get tipped off if the hitter is going to start to break his hands to square bunt. There was nothing indicating that Velasquez was going to do it that time. So here comes the offering to Velasquez, and he does square to bunt, and that is inside, and it looks like he has fouled it off his foot, or did it hit him? It absolutely hit him. There's nothing worse. You got a guy squaring to bunt to give himself up as an out. That pitch hits him in the foot. Joe Madden is on his way out. You check on his shortstop. Looked like you got him right on the top of his left foot, right in the back foot. They definitely was a back foot slider. That is going to put him aboard. That's going to put runners at first and second. Tanner Houck definitely did not want to hit him in this situation. It might have hit him a little further up. It looked like it caught him on the shin. So he's got a shin guard on his right leg, on the lead leg, but he doesn't have a shin guard on the back leg. So he gingerly makes his way to first base. So Velasquez is the runner at first. Marsh is the runner at second. So the 8 and 9 hitters are aboard here, and that brings up the top of the order, Taylor Ward. So what do you do with Ward? Well, to me in this situation, normally if it was Fletcher, I'm bunting again. But with Taylor Ward, I'm probably swinging away. He's got one of the hottest bats in the Angels lineup right now. He was the player of the week in the American League last week. So here comes the first pitch to Ward. It is a breaking ball that misses inside. And all of a sudden, the wheels have fallen off the apple cart for Tyler Houck. It's 1 ball and no strikes to Ward. Houck checks the runner at second, and he delivers a breaking ball. This ball is popped up over on the first base side. Over is Bobby Dalbec. But the ball is going to drift into the seats, and that is going to even the count at 1-1. So 1 ball and 1 strike to Taylor Ward. It's been a very surprising, in some ways, low-scoring game in Boston. Obviously, the pitching has something to do with that. Shohei Ohtani absolutely brilliant in his efforts today. Ohtani struck out 11 through 7. So here comes the pitch from Houck. It's a fastball swung on. This ball is belted to left field. Moving back onto the warning track is Verdugo, but he's going to have to play it off the wall. Jackie Bradley Jr. comes over to pick it up. Marsh is rounding second. He's going to be held up at third. It looked like he was going to have an opportunity to score. That ball ended up getting past the cutoff man. And that is going to be bases loaded as they held Marsh up at third base. He had to go halfway. It was a very tough situation because the ball ended up getting over Verdugo's head. Verdugo went to play it off the wall, but it ricocheted right to Jackie Bradley Jr. That's what happens when you've got the small confines of this ballpark. They throw it in. They end up missing the cutoffs. It ends up being picked up by the third baseman, Rafael Devers, about a third of the way down the third baseline. Now that brings up David Fletcher. And the first pitch Fletcher sees, he smokes into left field. That's going to be a base hit. 1 run is in. They're going to hold Velasquez over at third. And the bases are still loaded. And that is an RBI single for Fletcher as he drives the first pitch he sees right to the left fielder Verdugo on 1 hop. That is now going to extend the lead to 3-0 for the Angels as Brandon Marsh has now crossed the plate. And the threat here is not over. So the bases are full of Angels, and that brings up Shohei Ohtani to the plate. So the Red Sox are about to watch this game get blown apart. And the first pitch to Ohtani is the fastball swung on, and this ball is played ping pong off the wall. 1 run is in. Here comes the throw to third. It is not in time as the batter runner Taylor Ward, he wasn't there. He had to be able to hold up part of the way to see if that ball was going to be caught. Once it came off the wall, a fantastic play by Verdugo to fire it to third base to try to get a force out. But Ohtani is going to get himself an RBI single, and the band keeps playing here in Boston as the bases are still loaded. 2 runs are in. It's now 4-0 for the Angels. It's going to bring up Anthony Rendon. I don't know what's going on in the Boston bullpen, but Houck is ready to go back to work. There's a breaking ball that is taken outside by Rendon for ball 1, and the count is 1-0. Rendon today is 0 for 2. He has flown out to right. He's struck out, and he has walked in his 3 plate appearances. He's batting here with the bases loaded in the top of the 8th. And there is a breaking ball that Paul Emmel says he offered at. And that is a strike, and the count is 1-1. So 1 ball and 1 strike to Anthony Rendon. So the bases are full of Angels. Red Sox have nobody out here in the 8th inning, and there's a fastball taken for a called strike. Rendon is now in the hole at 1-2. There is a right-hander up and throwing in the Red Sox bullpen. It is Cutter Crawford. Some pretty good pitching names in baseball, and that would be one of them. And there is a breaking ball swung on. It's tapped over to third. Devers fields it over to first. His only play, and they're going to nail the batter runner Rendon. It's going to go down as a ground out 5-3. He's going to get an RBI. The Angels are going to get another run. Everybody else moves up a base. So Ward scores. Fletcher moves over to third, and Ohtani is now at second. It was a chopper. And the only play that Devers had, he couldn't come home because the runner was already in a position where he was going to score, and that is going to do it for Tanner Houck. Alex Cora has seen enough. We are going to have a pitching change here in Boston. There is 1 out with runners on second and third, and Cutter Crawford is about to enter the game. Stick around, everybody. We'll be back in just a moment. But it is Boston. You never know. This game may not be over yet. The Red Sox got 6 outs still to swing the bat. The entertainment may be just beginning.
Good evening, sports fans. I hope you all have been enjoying the game. This is just another message from another Hollis build. I hope that your team is in the lead, but if not, remember, that's life. That's what all the people say. You're riding high in April, shot down in May. But you know I'm gonna change that tune. When I'm back on top in June. I said that's life, and as funny as it may seem, some people get their kicks stomping on my team, but I don't let it get me down. 'Cause this fine old world, it keeps spinning around. I hope you enjoy the rest of the game, and if it remains the same, remember, that's life. You want your fill? Go check another Hollis build on YouTube. Last Raps Baseball. Let's get back to the game. Let's go! You know that's life. You know it. One love and peace.
Welcome back, everybody. We have a change in Boston. It is going to be Cutter Crawford entering the game. Going to be replacing Tanner Houck. Crawford on the season. He's appeared in 6 ball games. He's had 7 innings of work. He's allowed 12 hits, 10 runs. 9 of them have been earned. He has walked 7 and struck out 11. And so his start, we saw Crawford pitch earlier this year. I really liked his stuff. Didn't get an opportunity to see where he got roughed up to inflate that ERA to almost 12. But he is on here in relief of Tanner Houck, as Houck has allowed 5 runs so far in his 2 1/3 innings of work, and his line is not finished as the runners at second and third, Ohtani and Fletcher, are his responsibility. So Jared Walsh is going to be the hitter. He homered his last time up. He is 1 for 3 today. So there is one away here as Walsh will step up to the plate. And the first pitch from Crawford is a fastball that's taken for a called strike, and the count is 0-1. I was mentioning before, there's some pretty good pitchers' names in baseball right now. Cutter Crawford, obviously, is kind of a cool name because pitchers will throw cutters. Infield is in as they have 3 players to the right side of the infield. There's a fastball that Walsh swings on and misses, and the count's 0-2. Yesterday, we saw the Seattle Mariners roll out Penn Murphy, a bullpen arm, so appropriately named Penn. So no balls and 2 strikes to Walsh. And here comes the pitch. It's a fastball swung on and lifted foul over on the third base side. The count remains at no balls and 2 strikes. So not only that, I've also thought one of the best names of all time was the pitcher for Oakland, Josh Outman. I mean, what better name to have for a pitcher than Outman? So Big Ray says the Angels need the win badly. There is a fastball swung on. This ball is caught on the fist. It's going to bleed through the 6-hole into left field, and that's going to get 2 runs in. Bit of hard luck there as that ball was not hit hard. It was a seeing eye single into left field. But it looks like a line drive in the box score as Jared Walsh is going to get himself 2 more RBIs with that single. As Fletcher and Ohtani come around to score, that is going to blow this one apart here. Very difficult for the Red Sox now to come back as they now are down 7-0. Although those runs are going to be charged to Tanner Houck. They had the shift on, as they had the players to the right side of the infield. They were able to fight that one off. And so here's the first pitch that is delivered to Max Stassi. It's taken for a ball outside for ball 1. Our friend KK says that's a great rally. Yeah, for the Angels, it has been a great rally today. That's for sure. So 1 ball and no strikes. And here's the offering from Crawford. It is a fastball swung on and missed. Runs the count to 1-1. So 1 ball and 1 strike to Stassi. The Angels have erupted here for 5 runs in the top of the 8th inning. And that should be more than enough to secure Shohei Ohtani his 3rd win of the season if they can hang on. There's a fastball swung on and fouled away. Count is 1-2. Still not a great situation for the Angels there. Bullpen is still a little bit of a nail-biter unless they get it over to Raciel Iglesias. They do have Mike Myers throwing in the pen. We saw him on Monday against the White Sox, and he looked very good. So it looks like he's heating up to come in the 8th. So 1 ball and 2 strikes to Stassi. Crawford gets the sign from his catcher, Plawicki. And he kicks and fires. There's a breaking ball that is taken for a called 3rd strike. Stassi stood there like the house by the side of the road. That's the 2nd time today he's gone down looking, 3rd time on the ball game. So he has retired for out number 2, and that's going to leave it all up to Jack Mayfield. So for Mayfield, he is 0 for 3 today. He has struck out. He has flown out to right and flown out to center. The first offering from Crawford's a fastball that misses upstairs, and the count is 1-0. Yeah, the living room's got it. He stood there like the house by the side of the road for sure. And here comes the 1-0 pitch. There's a fastball that misses upstairs, and the count is now 2-0. So 2 balls and no strikes to Mayfield. We're going to have to come up with some more oxymorons or something like that, or more sayings as we move along here. There's a fastball swung on and missed. Count is 2-1. That would be appropriate. So we don't overuse that one. Just so we know, that is Tyler Wade actually pinch hitting. He looked a little different. He's hitting for Jack Mayfield here. So Tyler Wade is the batter, and there's a fastball swung on. This is lifted into center field. Moving over underneath it is Jackie Bradley Jr. He's going to make the catch, and that is going to do it for Tyler Wade, as his day at the plate is now over. And that is going to leave it here in the 8th inning. They bat around to the Angels. They had 5 runs in the inning on 5 hits. There was no errors and 1 runner left aboard. We're now through 7.5. It is the Angels 7, the Red Sox. Nothing. Stick around, everybody. It's never over in Fenway because those runs can come back in a big hurry. We did see it yesterday when the Angels shoved 5 on the board in the 10th. Boston has that kind of offense to do it. Let's see what happens when we turn it over to the bullpens. Hang tight, everybody. We'll be back in a minute. Back, everybody. We have the 2, 3, and 4 hitters coming up for Boston here in their half of the 8th inning. It's going to be Rafael Devers, Xander Bogaerts, and J.D. Martinez. They're going to try to keep this going against the Angels. There is going to be a pitching change for the Angels. We won't get the confirmation in just a moment, but it looks like Shohei Ohtani's day is done. He was absolutely brilliant in his 7 innings of work today. He gave allowed 6 hits, walked none, and struck out 11 Red Sox. It is Mike Mayers on the mound, and here comes the first pitch to Devers. It is a breaking ball that misses down for ball 1, and the count is 1-0. So Tyler Wade is in left field replacing Jack Mayfield, and Mike Mayers is on the mound. So Mayers on the season is 1-0. He's got an ERA of 6.48. He's worked 8 1/3 innings this year. There's a breaking ball that catches the outside corner for a called strike, and the count goes to 1-1. We saw Mayers pitch on Monday against the White Sox. He was very effective in his time on the mound in that ball game. He's got pretty much a fastball slider kind of arm. There's a fastball that swung on it, is popped up over on the third base side. Racing over is Anthony Rondon. He reaches in. He's going to make the grab. What a play by Rendon as he reaches into the camera well to make the catch to retire Rafael Devers. He had to get over into foul territory. He raced over and he was able to make that grab. And Rendon had to come a long way because the shift was on for Devers, so he's basically in the shallow shortstop position. Had to get all the way over to the Angels dugout, and he had to reach in, be able to make that grab. A fantastic play. I don't know about some of the Angels, what they were doing over there. I would have been in a better production to protect Rendon. But that is 1 up and 1 away, and that brings up Xander Bogaerts. For Bogaerts today, he is 1 for 3. He has singled in between 2 strikeouts, and he takes the first pitch breaking ball for a ball 1. So 1 ball and no strikes to Bogaerts. Big Ray says 11 strikeouts for Ohtani is a very nice day at the office. It sure is. There was a breaking ball taken for a called strike, and the count now goes to 1-1. On top of that, it is also the pitches that Otani threw. Otani threw 99 pitches today, and 81 of them were for strikes. That is mind-boggling. Absolute fantastic day. And he might have got jacked out of 2 or 3 by the plate umpire, too. There's a breaking ball that misses down, and the count is now 2-1. You throw almost 82% strikes on the day. That is a ball game. So 2 balls and 1 strike to Bogaerts. Mayers kicks in, delivers. There's a breaking ball swung on it. Is popped up. It's right in front of home plate. Stassi discards the mask. He makes the catch in foul territory just on the first base side. And that is going to retire Bogaerts for the second out of the inning, and that leaves the Red Sox all up to JD Martinez here to do some damage here in the 8th inning. So JD Martinez steps to the plate. He is 1 for 3 on the afternoon. He doubled his last time up. He's also bounced into a fielder's choice and has struck out. Big Ray asked the question. He's missed the hitting. How did Otani swing today? There's a first pitch breaking ball that Martinez went after, and the count is quickly 0-1. Martinez didn't really like the call, but to call a spade, pitch was too close, and Martinez went for it too much, and ML made the easy call. No balls and 1 strike. Otani at the plate today, he is 2 for 4. He's got a run scored and an RBI. There's a fastball that's taken for a called strike, and the count now goes to 0-2 on Martinez. So Otani productive on the mound and at the plate. That's also the impressive part. Sometimes hitters or pitchers don't always hit well at younger levels. When guys pitch, are so concentrating on their pitching, their hitting falls apart. So here comes the pitch. It's a fastball that misses upstairs. The count now goes to 1-2 to JD Martinez. The Red Sox faithful are still sticking around. They know what it's like at Fenway Park. The game is never over until it's over, as Yogi Berra once said. That is the truth. Here comes the 1-2 offering. He kicks and delivers. It's a fastball that misses up and away. And the count now is 2-2 on JD Martinez. Big Gray says, you really got to like a hitting pitcher. You know, the rule where they took it out in the National League, I'd still like to see the pitchers hit. It's 1 less hitter in the order. It makes the game more interesting. And there's a fastball taken for a called third strike. And Martinez goes down for the 3rd out of the inning. Mayers comes in and does his job as he retires the Red Sox 1-2-3. There were no runs, no hits, no errors, and nobody left the board. We'll come back with some of those thoughts in just a moment. We're moving to the top of the 9th inning. It is the Angels 7, the Red Sox nothing. Stick around, everybody. We'll be back in just a few. Glad you could pop in and join us with us today. Hopefully we'll see you again later. We'll talk about our upcoming schedule when we return.
Hello, guys. Thank you for joining Freddie here on his baseball game. And I'm Steve Rademacher, and my channel is really all about everybody, including all my international friends. We have such stuff as non-sport packs from Canada, the OP cheese. We have the Greek Freak. We have money from around the world. We have lira. We have yen. We have francs. We have pounds. We have Deutschmarks. We have all kinds of cool stuff like that. We even have some cooler things like Japanese women wrestlers and OPC baseball cards where I cannot read the back. We even have unopened material like the royal family, I know it's backwards, from London, England. Thank you for watching. Back to Freddie.
Appreciate you, Steve, and your support of our channel. And in turn, we like to support Steve Rademacher, now coming to bat for the Los Angeles Angels. And the 9th inning is going to be Brandon Marsh, Andrew Velasquez, and Taylor Ward. We'll just talk about a couple of things. Upcoming on the channel, we are going to be doing a couple more Japanese games. We're not going to be on the air doing the stuff tonight. But we are going to call games 2 and 3 of the series between the Oryx Buffaloes and the Tohoku Rakuten Golden Eagles. That'll run at 10 o'clock Pacific time on Friday and on Saturday. Those are 2 o'clock Japan time, or 1400 hours Japan time. Be on the air doing those ones on Saturday and Sunday evening. We're also going to do a midweek game next week. It'll be on Tuesday. We will be calling the Tohoku Rakuten Golden Eagles and the Chiba Lotte Marines. Same thing. And on Thursday, also the same. Those will be local time, 1400 hours, or 10 o'clock on the Pacific coast of North America. So hopefully you can pop in and join us for those ones. There's the first pitch breaking ball that misses down and into Brandon Marsh, and the count is quickly 1-0. Marsh today is 1 for 3. He singled and scored a run his last time up. He has struck out twice. There's a fastball that misses upstairs, and the count is now 2-0. So 2 balls and no strikes to Marsh. Crawford ready to go back to work. He delivers a fastball that is swung through and missed. And the count now goes to 2-1. I'll also look to get on the call again tomorrow. We're probably going to do another Major League game in the middle of the day. And we will be looking to make the call on the Cubs and the Dodgers tomorrow. There's a fastball that misses upstairs. And the count now goes to 3-1 on Marsh. We were a little bit mixed on that one, but we are probably going to do the play-by-play. We will let you know in our advance here when we decide to do that. I'd have to check the weather on that game. There was a fastball swung on and fouled away by Marsh. As far as I know, the Windy City is supposed to have decent weather tomorrow. That would be the only way that we wouldn't call that game. So the 2 late-night Japanese games. And then we'll look to add a Sunday game to our schedule Sunday morning at Major League Baseball. Hopefully you can join us for that as well. There's a fastball swung on. This ball is belted into deep right field. Moving back onto the warning track is Franchi Cordero. He looks up and it is gone. It's over the bullpen. And Brandon Marsh has a solo shot here in the top of the 9th inning as the Angels have now extended the lead to 8-0. And if there's any Red Sox fans that are still in here, I would say to them, you're probably not coming back at this point. 7-0 is even a tough one to come back from. I would say that 8-0, the odds are definitely not in your favor. So Marsh scores for the second time today. So that is how we're going to operate here in the next couple of days. Big Ray says, happy Cinco de Mayo. It is Cinco de Mayo, especially yesterday after May the 4th be with you. And now Cinco de Mayo is on tap for all of our friends who are south of the southern border of the United States. There's a fastball delivered to Velasquez. It misses upstairs, and the count now goes to 2-0. The first 2 pitches to Velasquez were balls. So here comes the offering from Crawford. And there's a fastball that misses upstairs. It's now 3-0. So 3 balls and no strikes. Well, Crawford is probably going to have to get a tour down in the minor leagues to sort out what he needs to do here. We watched him pitch a couple of weeks ago, and he looked fairly good. This is not the same pitcher that we saw. There's a fastball that's taken for a called strike. The count is 3-1. He's having difficulty locating his fastball here, and there's a fastball swung through and missed, and now the count goes to 3-2. You sometimes see that with pitchers. They may have to go down and get into the lab and work on a few things. So 3 balls and 2 strikes. And here's the pitch. It is a fastball swung on and missed. Velasquez is gone on strikes for the second time today. That's the first out here in the 9th inning. That'll bring up the right fielder, Taylor Ward. For Taylor Ward, he is 1 for 3 on the afternoon. He singled and scored a run his last time up. He has struck out twice and he has walked. He is 1 for 3 officially on the day. And here comes the first offering from Crawford. He takes a fastball for a called strike. And the count is 0-1. Ward's average has slipped to 373 on the season. And here comes the 0-1 offering. It is a breaking ball that misses down and away. and the count is 1-1. So 1 ball and 1 strike. Here comes the offering, and it is a breaking ball that drops in for a called strike, and the count is 1-2. So 1 ball and 2 strikes to the right-handed hitting Ward. Crawford ready to go back to work. He kicks and delivers. There's a 97-mile-an-hour fastball that swung on. It is lifted into shallow center field, and that is going to be caught by the center fielder Jackie Bradley Jr., and Ward is retired for the second out of the inning. He is gone for out number 2. Big Ray says the 4th was definitely with me last night. In Redbeard break, he hit a Wander Franco rookie relic card. The very last card of the break. Congratulations there, Big Ray. There's a fastball that misses down. And the count is 1-0 to David Fletcher. Anytime you can land something like that, that's a good day at the office. And here comes the pitch delivered to Fletcher. It's grounded over to first. Dahlbeck gets it, who's off the bag. He flips it over to Carter Crawford covering. And that is going to do it. That's going to go down as a ground out 3-1. A very quick out to retire David Fletcher for out number 3. But there was more damage in the inning. A solo shot by Brandon Marsh. So there was 1 run on 1 hit. There were no errors and nobody left the board. Moving to the bottom of the 9th inning, it is the Los Angeles Angels 8, the Boston Red Sox nothing. Stick around, everybody. We'll be back in just a moment with the call of the bottom of the 9th inning. Glad you guys could pop in here with us today. Here is our friend Steve Rademacher.
This is Steve Rademacher, and I'd like to introduce you to my channel if you haven't seen it before. These are all the things I enjoy: sports, autographs, relics, non-sports Hall of Famers, pseudo-sports, Star Wars. That's my channel name and my name, and I would really appreciate it if you would come check me out and maybe even subscribe if you like it. Thank you for that for now, and back to your ball game.
Thanks, Steve. Welcome back, everybody. The Red Sox are down to their last wraps. We'll be back in just a moment here after these tunes for the call at the bottom of the 9th inning. We're glad you could pop in with us here today. Hang tight, everybody. Welcome back, everybody. We're moving to the bottom of the 9th inning. It is going to be Alex Verdugo, Franchi Cordero, and Bobby Dahlbeck scheduled to come to bat for the Red Sox. The Angels are up 8-0 here going to the bottom of the 9th inning. All of the runs have come late in this one. All the scoring has taken place after the 7th inning. Tanner Houck has been responsible for 7 of those runs. The other run has been charged to the reliever Cutter Crawford. The first pitch from Mares to Alex Verdugo is a breaking ball that misses outside, and the count is 1-0. For Verdugo, today he is 0 for 3. He's grounded out twice and struck out in his 3 trips to the plate. He swings at a fastball and fouls that one away over on the third base side, and the count is 1-1. So 1 ball and 1 strike to Verdugo. Verdugo has made some nice plays. I really like the way that he played off the wall today. He read the balls off the green monster in left field. And here's the pitch from Mares. It is a fastball that gets away from the catcher Stassi, and that runs the count now to 2-1. So 2 balls and 1 strike. Verdugo has been able to play the balls off the wall pretty good. That's what you get when you're playing in Fenway Park. Learning how to play there every day. There's a breaking ball swung on. This ball is lifted into left field, and it's going to slice into the seats. There's not a lot of real estate on the foul lines, on either foul line. Once you get about 2/3 of the way down toward the green monster in left field and the pesky pole, the stands come right up onto the field of play. There is a young lady who receives that ball. There is a breaking ball swung on. It's tapped slowly back to the pitcher. Mayers fields it. He flips it over to first. And that is going to retire Verdugo. That's going to go down as a ground out 1-3 for out number 1 here in the 9th. It's going to bring up Franchi Cordero. Just a little reminder after this game is done, as we will do a recap of the scoring here. There is the out-of-town scores. We have a couple of games that are currently underway. The Rockies and the Nationals, the Reds and the Brewers are going. All the other games are later starts. Boy, if you're a fan of the Cincinnati Reds, and I know that one of our followers is here that likes the Reds, boy, there is going to be a long season in Cincinnati. Al Swearingen stops in and says it's a beautiful game for the Angels. It has been for sure today. There's a first pitch fastball that misses outside to Cordero, and the count is 1-0. This is a win that the Angels need. And here comes the pitch, and they'll take 2 out of 3 in this series. There's a fastball that misses upstairs, and the count is now 2-0. So 2 balls and no strikes to Franchi Cordero. It's an 8-run lead here in the bottom of the 9th inning. Angel fans will be flapping their wings tonight. There's a fastball that is swung on and fouled away. And the count now goes to 2-1 on Cordero. After this series is completed today, the Angels are still on the road. Actually, sorry, they come back home. They go home to play the Washington Nationals. They'll be flying home on getaway after this one. There's a breaking ball that is called a strike on Cordero. He tried to check his swing, but he couldn't hold up. So 2 balls and 2 strikes to Cordero. Angels will play host to the Washington Nationals. Speaking of a tonic that could help you get back on track, playing the Nationals for 3 games could get you a couple of wins at home. There's a fastball to Cordero that misses upstairs, and the count is now 3-2. The Boston Red Sox, after this series is done, they welcome in the Chicago White Sox for a set. There's a fastball swung on and missed. Cordero is gone on strikes for the second out of the inning, and that's going to leave it all up to the first baseman, Bobby Dahlbeck. The Red Sox will bring in the White Sox. Evaldi will go for the Red Sox. Velasquez will go for the White Sox. Start tomorrow night for the Angels. They are yet to announce a starter for tomorrow night's game. It'll be Adon will go for the Washington Nationals. So here comes the first pitch to Dahlbeck. It's a fastball that misses outside. The count is 1-0. So 1 ball and no strikes to Dahlbeck. Living Room says he missed the upcoming schedule. I'll repeat that for you again for those of you who are listening. We'll be back on the airwaves tomorrow in the daytime. There's a breaking ball that misses down and away. Counts now 2-0 to Dahlbeck. We're going to do the Cubs and the Dodgers, weather permitting. But Friday night and Saturday night at 10 p.m. Pacific or 1 a.m. Eastern, we are going to do the Japanese games between the Oryx Buffaloes and the Tohoku Rakuten Golden Eagles. So hopefully people can jump us in for that one. We are going to add a Major League game to the schedule on Sunday morning. There's a fastball taken for a called strike by Dahlbeck, and the count now goes to 2-1. We are going to call a couple of midweek Japanese games next week, as there is going to be some 10 p.m. starts. There's a fastball swung on and fouled away. Count now goes to 2-2 on Dahlbeck. So those games that'll be 10 p.m. Pacific time will be on Tuesday night, North American time. They'll be the Wednesday and Thursday Japanese games, and they will be the Tohoku Rakuten Golden Eagles and the Chibolote Marines. So hopefully you can join us for those. There's a fastball swung on. This ball is lifted into left field. Moving over to his left is Tyler Ward. He's going to make the catch, and that is going to do it for the ball game today as Shohei Ohtani spins a gem. We'll come back and wrap this one up and give you the out-of-town scoreboard in just a couple minutes, everybody. But for the Red Sox and their half of the 9th inning, No runs, no hits, no errors, and nobody left the board. Your final score is the Los Angeles Angels 8, the Boston Red Sox nothing. Stick around, everybody. We'll be back in just a couple minutes. We'll give you all the wrap-up and the out-of-town scores. Glad to have you with us today, everybody. Here is our friend Matt again.
Well, you've got to have an ace in the hole, a little secret that nobody knows. Life is a gamble, a game we all play, but you've got to save something for a rainy day. You've got to learn to play your cards right if you expect to win in life. Don't put it all on the line for just one roll. You've got to have an ace in the hole.
Once again, we appreciate you, Matt Hollis, and your support of the channel, and in turn, we support Matt. Going to take a quick look at the out-of-town scoreboard in Milwaukee. The Brewers are holding an 8-5 lead over the Cincinnati Reds. Those poor Cincinnati Reds are just not feeling it this year. They've only got 3 wins in 24 games into this one. It doesn't look like it's going to turn around anytime soon. The Brewers are taking advantage. Brewers have hit a pile of home runs today. Luis Arias hit one off of Hunter Green in the first. Christian Yelich hit one off of Green in the fourth. Willie Adames hit one off of Green in the second. And it was Tyrone Taylor hit another one off of Green in the third. And Keston Hira hit another one off of Green in the third inning as well. So a pile of home runs in that one. And that is the way that one stands. 8-5 as of right now. Hunter Green may have to go back to the lab as well. In Colorado, the Rockies have a 4-2 lead over the Nationals. That one's in the bottom of the fourth inning. And your final score here from Fenway is the Los Angeles Angels 8, the Boston Red Sox nothing. The story in this one was the pitching of Shohei Ohtani. Ohtani went 7 strong innings today. He threw 99 pitches, 81 of them for strikes. He allowed 6 hits, walked none, and struck out 11 Red Sox hitters. He was absolutely fantastic today. For the runs today, the way they came in bunches. All the scoring came after the 7th inning. In the 7th inning, it was walk to Anthony Rendon with 1 out, and then Jared Walsh hit the 2-run homer. That put the Angels up in front 2-0. In the 8th inning, things got going when Brandon Marsh stepped up to the plate and had a single. Andrew Velasquez was hit by a pitch. Then Taylor Ward singled. Then David Fletcher singled and knocked home a run. Then Shohei Ohtani came up and he singled and knocked home a run. So there were 2 runs on the board. Then Anthony Rendon grounded out and knocked in another run. So 3 runs were on the board. And then they made a pitching change. They brought in Cutter Crawford, and Jared Walsh singled home 2 runs. That gave them 5 in the inning. The Angels tacked on 1 more in the 9th on a solo shot by Brandon Marsh. And that made the final score 8-0. And that's how it stood today here in Boston. So Xavier was in here checking us out. We had Big Ray. We appreciated you. The living room was here. KK, Al Swearingen. Everybody else who dropped by to say hello. We thank you all for coming in. Troy Trolls and all the rest of you. Thanks again, everybody. We appreciate you guys for listening in today. Your final score, Los Angeles Angels 8, Boston Red Sox nothing. Once again, we'll be back on the airwaves again tomorrow. Cubs-Dodgers early on. Japanese game late tomorrow night. Hopefully you can pop in for one of them. Have a great night, everybody.